to Moleo. It's a beautiful place. It's so big. It's like, I don't know.
It's like Mississippi.
It's huge. It's huge.
It's big like Mississippi.
Yeah.
And the Rangers are mostly from the area.
Yeah.
So you see them in their uniforms with their rifles doing their attention. Salute.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
Yeah, Bernard, yesterday I saw the performances, colorful as they are, exciting, energetic.
Yeah.
I mean, fantastic from the Red Clay Studios. But Bernard, I dare say that despite all these good things that we're seeing from other parts, look, the dance forms and the rhythms of the people of the water, none beats them.
We can do a debate on that later. I know you are ready. You've got to take your evidence and your facts. And you've brought your drawing board. Hey. This one, then they start the drum. No, you start with that's what started. You start then they start Charlie, no, Sky, they beat too much. And the one who starts like a town crier, he will start the rhythm.
No.
Try it again.
Baba Fika love you, Joey. Jo for paro glipo chanyo. Then you hear somebody.
Yeah.
Agbano.
No, he's lost. Let's relax. Let's do it later. He's confused.
Bernard, good morning, though. I'm not very happy this morning.
Oh, yeah.
No.
Talk to me.
I wish I could share your joy.
You want to, we know their issues, but we have to remember our culture.
No.
We have to remember our heritage, man.
I always remember my culture.
What's your issue?
No.
You are not happy with many things.
No, yesterday what happened
in
Ashaiman?
This morning I'll give you the chance. Don't worry.
I mean, Sky is my man on the law.
Yeah.
Which of the laws in this country
absolutely
allows the military high command to sanction its own operations?
To go and effect
in civilian areas to effect
an arrest over 100 people.
And I heard the deputy defense minister say this, that the military high command sanctioned. And this is the deputy defense minister. I think he's a parliamentarian. He is a parliamentarian.
Yeah. If my memory serves me correctly.
Hey, then
so now they sanction their own operations, they effect their own arrest, and then they decide
who to hand it over.
And then decide when to hand it to the police.
You see, in terms of enforcement of the law, which is what they were seeking to do, they have absolutely no authority under the laws.
In fact, in another jurisdiction, the police can issue a statement and say what happened there was lawlessness.
Yes.
Because the police are the ones who have the mandate to enforce civil order. So, and in fact, we are told that there was a report made to the police after the
police were investigating.
So the police are already aware that the man has been killed, and they are already been told somebody went to make a report. So this is not like you are in the middle of some movement somewhere and then something has happened. So we'll deal with it. And also the other issue was the vaccines as well, which has seen some movement. The minister eventually, in terms of the minister's appearance before the public, he eventually addressed the media and issued a statement. We'll delve into the statement. But the truth is that the vaccines have still not been, they are not in.
I think for some reason the minister is running away from speaking
to them
on the record in Parliament.
Yes.
Because he's well aware that if he makes promises that he is unable to keep, then you can have the Government Assurances Committee after him.
So Parliament said they gave him, they use some technical term. He was given some leave.
Yes.
So that he will excuse himself and address the public rather through a press conference. Which I find interesting because, as you say, Parliament is a house of record. So you can say at a press conference that we expect a thing in 1 week.
Nobody will hold you.
But if you say it in Parliament and you lie, they can hold you responsible.
No, so who are you cheating?
Maybe they are just not sure when it will come.
No, you see, Bernard.
Anyway, let's see how it was reported first. Let's get ahead of ourselves. Let's see how the report was done.
Okay, so let me take off this morning with the Ghanaian Times. A murder of soldier. Military swoops on Ashaiman. Beats arrest over 72 residents for questioning. Also, we are told adopt right procedures to resolve labor disputes. And that is coming in from the Chief Justice of the Republic. And government to take delivery of measles vaccine soon, according to the Minister for Health, who is here on the front page. And 2 children drowned after torrential rain.
Botiano.
Yeah, really story. Front page of the Daily Graphic. Government moves to deliver vaccines. Ashaiman assures citizenry. Soldiers' reaction to dead colleague abusive. This is coming from residents of Ashaiman. Help resolve impact of global crisis. Kujo speaking to multilateral institutions.
Let me take you to the Chronicle. Big story says slain soldier lover detained as Abongo boys turn Ashaiman into war zone.
Terrible.
Shall I look at that? It's a military officer flogging.
Those who have been sitting on social media saying they need a coup, you haven't even seen. Even this one is just comedy. When you unleash people on the streets, the kind of things they do, you have no idea. So please don't pray for what you don't know. You don't know.
Also, let me take you to a story that says GRA exceeds a revenue target by 6.5 billion Ghana cedis over a 3-year period. Bernard's brainchild, he likes this thing.
Which one?
When they say that revenue target,
he likes
he starts calculating things in his head.
Also, no child has died of measles. The minister shouldn't be saying this. Well, I mean, maybe he's denying claims that have been made, but that's not the issue. People are sick as a result. And then Africa deserves permanent seat on UN Security Council.
All right. Front page of the Herald newspaper says GNPC saved from $1.6 billion 419 oil deal as Norwegian oil company drops bombshell on why it fled from South Deepwater Tunnel block. The soldiers on the front page of the Herald newspaper as well. It says that they are being caught in shameful conduct. And a question here: MPP MPs to boycott Akufo-Addo's last but one sonar today?
Oh,
where's that coming from?
They will not.
The final says this morning: marauding soldiers unleash a mayhem, brutalize residents of Ashaiman over killing of a soldier. Also, we're told no measles deaths in 20 years. Vaccines arriving soon. They're quoting the Honorable Kweku Ajiman Menu and the story about the two children who died tragically yesterday at Bochiano.
The state of the nation is captured on the front page. So just doing what is unlawful.
Health sector
in crisis. And after 3 hours of rain, people die again.
That's the truth.
Well, the new publisher says, I have chopped all my eggs, Gracia. Mahama says he will return Foku. And then it's a photo of a smiling former President Mahama on the front page of the paper.
And the new crusading guide says this morning, outbreak of measles, nationwide shortage. So it's an outbreak of measles, nationwide shortage. Vaccine to be ready in few weeks, according to the minister. Also, the story about the GRA, also here on the front page.
So it means that the Ghana Health Service director has been proved wrong, because he said on 23rd February that the vaccines will be available in 2 to 3 weeks. So tomorrow is 2 weeks. Now the minister is now saying few weeks. So one cannot be few. So it means that it's more than 2 weeks. So obviously the thing is 4 to 5 weeks. Do you understand? If you put the two statements together, somebody has to be, both cannot be right.
There's something.
You can't say in 23rd February that the thing will be in here in 2 to 3 weeks. And then 2 weeks later say it will be here in a few weeks. So it's something wrong.
Some way.
You know,
well, finally from me, the public press's front page also deals with the Ashaiman incident, and then minority chided government over the vaccine shortage. I inherited a severely challenged economy, but turned things around. This is the president speaking.
Let's go to citynewsroom.com. Akufo-Addo to deliver State of the Nation address today. That's the first story. Swoop at Ashaiman was sanctioned by military high command, according to the Ghana Armed Forces. Meanwhile, the late soldier's mother says, I'm devastated by my son's death. And then City News says, Health Minister fails to give definite date for arrival of childhood vaccines, which is correct. And then AGI calls for reduction in taxes ahead of State of the Nation address today. Still on citynewsroom.com, Northern Development Authority CEO resigns. Akufo-Addo grateful to Turkish government over return of Achu remains. And then minority slums government over vaccine shortage. Now, my journal line is talking about the Ashaiman incident, 72 residents forcibly taken away by soldiers. This is the MP. Also, military brutalized Ashaiman residents after a soldier was killed. Then this one, wastewater flowing on Accra-Kasua Highway turns foamy. The wastewater that flows on the Accra-Kasua Highway, you know, when usually it washes the what do you call it, the hills, it's turned foamy. Yeah. And the victim narrates, soldiers put a gun to my head and threatened to kill me. This is one of the victims from the Ashaiman incident as well. City Business News lead story, government's decision to cut interest rates is good. This is Joe Jackson. Government's decision to reduce interest rates. And then DBG to invest in agriculture value chain to tackle food insecurity. That's also on City News. Meanwhile, Nyahom Tamaklo says he warned Matic about incurring the wrath of the fans. This is a House of Folk matter. So let's get into the details. I think the latest on the military is on City because the I don't know if the papers have the statement.
No, it doesn't seem, because I've looked through
the statement came this morning.
What does it say?
Okay, the statement.
I read the statement.
Okay, the statement is signed by E. Agrikwashi, who is a brigadier general.
Oh, congratulations to him! He's been promoted.
And the story, the statement actually is titled "Military Conducts Swoop at Ashaiman, Targeted at Killers of Young Soldier." And the statement says personnel of the Ghana Armed Forces on Tuesday, the 7th of March 2023, conducted a swoop in Ashaiman and its environs in a manhunt for some criminals who are suspected to have stabbed and killed a young soldier, Trooper Imoru Sharif, in the early hours of Saturday, the 4th of March 2023, at Ashaiman, Taifa. Now, Trooper Sharif, who was stationed in Sunyai, was in Accra on a course and had sought permission to visit his parents at Ashaiman, where he grew up, but was found in a pool of blood in the early hours of Sunday near the Ashaiman, the Amania Hotel in Ashaiman. Now, the Ghana Armed Forces wishes to state categorically that the military operation, which was sanctioned by the Military High Command, was not to avenge the killing of the soldier, but rather to fish out the perpetrators of the heinous crime. Now, following the operations at Ashaiman, Taifa, and Tulaku, the military personnel picked up about 184 suspects.
184 suspects.
Exactly. Aged between 21 and 47 years old, and have since handed them over to the military police and subsequently to be sent to the Ghana Police Service for screening and for further action. Now, during the course of the swoop, the personnel seized 29 slabs and 57 mini slabs of suspected Indian hemp and amnesia, among other forms of the narcotics. Now, the Ghana Armed Forces also wishes to place on record that the swoop was not targeted at innocent civilians, but was an intelligence-led operation conducted on suspected hideouts of criminals and crime-prone areas in the general area. Now, the Ghana Armed Forces, however, acknowledges that regrettably, some innocent persons might have been caught up in the operation and subsequently suffered some distress due to the location they found themselves at the time. Now, the Ghana Forces accordingly wishes to urge the general public to provide useful information, support the security agencies in weeding out criminals and miscreants from our communities, and to desist from shielding and conniving with such suspects in order to to curb criminal activities in the country.
We'll deal with this later. Let me just give you a related story where the mother of the late soldier says she's devastated by what happened. The gentleman was only 22 years old, allegedly murdered by people in the Ashaiman area. Ifia Chera, some people, says she has no idea her son was visiting Ashaiman after taking a sick leave from his base in Sunyai in the Bono region. So you see the
contradiction.
Yes, the press release says he was supposed to visit his parents. Now his mother is saying that he had no idea her son was visiting the area after taking sick leave from his base in Sunyai. The death of Sheriff Imoru sparked the serious brutalization of residents in Ashaiman by military on Tuesday. And Sheriff didn't have any friends. He was always with me. Some neighbors were always teasing me for turning me into a mommy's boy. I had no idea he was coming to Ashaiman. I had no idea he would die like this. His death is so pitiful. I'm sad and devastated. Now, the 22-year-old soldier with the Ghana Armed Forces band in Sunyai in the Bono region was reportedly stabbed to death by unknown attackers on Saturday dawn. His body was found on Sunday. And then he was said to be returning from his girlfriend's house in Taifa. This is the Taifa of Ashaiman. And heading towards his residence at Zongo Laka in Ashaiman when the incident occurred. And then yesterday, military personnel stormed Ashaiman and basically just brutalized people. That's what they did. And this statement they've sent claiming it was sanctioned. So if this a sanctioned operation happens, then a non-sanctioned operation, then we are dead. Because something that is sanctioned, Puni. Charlie, let's move to the health.
We'll come back to this. Let me talk about vaccines. Let me talk about vaccines. And the government, according to the front page of the Daily Graphic, is moving to deliver vaccines. The government is deploying all efforts and resources to fast-track the delivery of the routine child immunization vaccines that are in short supply in the country. 3 out of the 13 vaccines used for routine child immunization have been in short supply since the last quarter of last year. Health Minister Ashaiman, who gave the assurance at a press briefing in Accra yesterday, said the shortage was purely due to global supply chain disruptions and not because the government owed the Global Vaccine Alliance, Gavi. He said since June last year till now, the government had paid almost 72 million Ghana cedis to Gavi. Quote, "It is very false for anybody to rumor that the country owes Gavi, resulting in the shortage. We do not owe Gavi. It is true we have had some vaccine shortages in the country since the last quarter of 2022. And then he goes on to mention it. The minister's assurance comes after the Daily Graphic in this Thursday, February 23, 2023 edition, broke the news about the widespread shortage of some routine childhood immunization vaccines in the country.
Well, if you go to the Ghanaian Times, they have a story saying the minority is worried about shortage of vaccines against childhood killer diseases. And the story is by Julius Yaopetechi. And let me just give you 2 quick quotes there. From the minority spokesperson on health, the Honorable Kwabena Mintakando. He says, quote, "We don't want any big English and complex explanation. The vaccines should be delivered to the people of Ghana to save the lives of infants. Currently, all our children are at high risk. All we are interested in is that tomorrow, by this time, the vaccines have been delivered and distribution has started."
For me, there are a couple of interesting points. You see, the emphasis to downplay the seriousness of the shortage and to say, for example, that no child has died, we don't owe Gavi, our vaccination program is still one of the best in the world. We don't need all this. Right. You see, it's almost like deflecting. We are, okay, so if your vaccination program is the best in the world,
why is it?
And for over 2-3 months, you don't have vaccines in 3 critical disease groups. What's the point in beating your chest to say you have the best vaccination program and to say no child has died? So is it to say that because of that, we should be ashamed that we criticize you? I don't understand the angle of the press conference. You get me? And there was no definite date given as well, which is worrying. In fact, the news story here is from City News is that Health Minister fails to give definite date for arrival of vaccines. Now, this is 2 weeks after the Ghana Health Service Director said there will be vaccines in 2 to 3 weeks. All right. Now, the story says there's still no relief in place to resolve the acute shortage of vaccines bedeviling the country in recent months, as the Health Minister Kweku Agyeman failed to provide timelines on when his outfit would take delivery of some 3 key vaccines in short supply. After failing to appear before Parliament to answer questions on the shortage on 2 occasions, the minister during a press conference at the Ministry on Information acknowledged the shortage, saying it is true that we have had some vaccine shortages since the last quarter of 2022, and these vaccines are BCG, measles, rubella, and oral polio vaccines. And these vaccine shortages are nationwide.
Let me do a health story related to the interview you had with the doctor yesterday. On page 61 of the Daily Graphic, the Ministry of Health has launched what it calls the Public Health Strategic Plan, which will address worker recruitment and distribution. So the Ministry of Health has launched the plan to enhance response to public health emergencies through human resource restructuring. Known as the Public Health Strategic Plan, the 5-year strategy outlines guidelines to address major barriers to responding to public health emergencies, such as human resource distribution and recruitment.
President addresses Parliament today. State of the Nation address. AGI ahead of that is calling for reduction in taxes. The Association of Ghana Industries is calling on the President to intervene in providing innovative ways of broadening the tax net rather than slapping additional taxes that overburden private businesses. Association believes government plans of introducing a 2.5% growth and sustainability levy and 20% excise duty on beverage companies may cause businesses to close down. The Great Accra Regional Chairman of the AGI, Chonam Cleanse Akpelu, made the call ahead of President's State of the Nation address scheduled for today, March 8th. And then he talks about there's VAT already, then there's the growth and sustainability levy, 2.5%, and then that bill is before Parliament. Then it's an additional excise tax, 20% on beverage companies, increasing the levy on bottled water from 17% to 20%. Mr. Akpelu lamented. So we'll see how the statement goes this morning.
Okay, Bernard, let me just quickly draw your attention to the 2 kids who were killed inside Botiano. That story is carried by the Finder on page 4 and basically says that 2 children died from drowning in the floods caused by yesterday's heavy rain at Baba Dogo in Botiano in the English Manfro constituency. Now, George AC, spokesperson for the National Disaster Management Organization, NADMO, said the bodies of an 11-year-old girl and her 9-year-old younger brother have.
Let me give you a related story before Godfrey comes in. So, wastewater flowing on Accra Kaswa Highway turns foamy after the rain. Now, the story says the stinking wastewater at New Botiano in the Gassouth municipality of the Greater Accra region has turned foamy after Tuesday's morning's downpour. The discomfiting effluence is located between Old Barrier and the West Hill Shopping Mall and pools on a portion of the Accra Kaswa Highway. My Joy Online has been reporting on the inconvenience caused by the wastewater to residents of the area and how they and road users are struggling to cope with it. The situation got worse on Tuesday morning, thus increasing the level of danger posed to residents. And then there are some very serious photos from the scene. That whole area, I don't know.
That's why yesterday when I got back, the car was, smelling.
It was smelling.
Charlie was smelling. I tried to go.
You are even lucky your car didn't get stuck. Because sometimes the mud from the hills gets onto the road and then cars get stuck in it.
Yes. I saw quite a number of these Ajwa Kambus and small Kambus.
Let me end with a story on page 60. Very important. Professor Awandari is talking. He says we must invest more into research, and he's speaking to African governments. He said this was because most of the research done was through support from outside the continent, and quote, if you are going to get money from outside, then those who fund the research will have a say in what type of research you should do and where you should publish it and all that. Professor Awandari said Africans needed to fund their own research and generate the knowledge required, adding that, quote, if somebody funds your research, they will tell you whatever you discover, you can't own it. So you have to share it with them. So we have to fund our own research so that we own the knowledge.
The UK's new asylum plan has been described as very concerning and that it would break international law, according to the UN Refugee Agency. Now, the UK government's proposed asylum law is very concerning and will block even those with a compelling claim. The United Nations Refugee Agency has said. Their rep in the UK, Vicky Tennant, told the BBC the measure would break international law and was not needed to stop channel crossings. Now, the Prime Minister said he is up for the fight to bring the law and overcome any legal challenges. There's a big debate in the UK Parliament over their so-called broken asylum system.
So you have a Prime Minister who is an immigrant, essentially, and then also the Home Secretary who is also an immigrant.
That's what they do.
And they are spearheading this kind of law, which people are saying would breach international law.
That is how they do it. They will use a face to do that thing.
Oh, Charlie.
Let's build our country. That's what we have to do. Let's build our country.
Just are beating us.
This is the Citi Breakfast Show, the city's biggest conversation.
You know, Papa, see that? And it's rickety car. Hey, Papa! Bobo, so how's your engine now? It is half man, half amazing. Thanks to Cause and you. Can't feel better energy. Can't touch this. Charlie, guys, so Sancho's engine just died like that? Yes, so somebody managed to convince him that there is a better engine oil than Quartz. And he switched. Sancho Panza. Now, which engine oil can be better than Quartz? No other, my guy. Quartz with its age-resistant technology, it keeps your engine younger for longer. Now you know. Have you guys seen the new bottle design? It's superb. Quartz 9000 from TotalEnergies dear improves fuel efficiency. Why do you think Mr. Mane and Logoso have taken the Quartz Nation movement World Cup like that? Sorry, Chairman. Hey, Quartz. Keep your engine younger for longer.
Join the conversation on the Citi Breakfast Show on Facebook at facebook.com/Citi97.3, Twitter at twitter.com/Citi973, and Instagram at instagram.com/Citi973 with the hashtag CitiCBS.
It's 1:07. City Business News is coming up next, brought to you by MTN. Have you ever wondered how to subscribe to a particular MTN service and how to view, add, or cancel your mobile subscription all from one place? Just dial *175# to access and manage all your subscriptions everywhere you go. And Goyle, your OMC of choice, keeps making life ever so convenient. We now accept Momo for all fuel purchases. Just remember to Momo it at Goyle. You can also use your bank card. That's all bank cards to buy fuel at Goyle. Drive to the nearest Goyle station now, buy your fuel and pay by Momo, bank card or Goyle Go card. Visit any of our social media pages for more information. Goyle, good energy. Goyle, Yeah, dear.
The Citi Breakfast Show. Rise above the noise.
The voice of business, Michael Ogbodu, is here with the news. Good morning, Mike.
Good morning, Bernard. Hello and welcome to the breakfast edition of Citi Business News, proudly brought to you by MTN and Goyle and powered by your most comprehensive business news website, citybusinessnews.com. Coming up, as the State of the Nation address is to be presented later today, we bring you expectations of various industry players. Also, Africa Center for Energy Policy, ACEP, calls for review of energy policies to tackle the sector's growing debt levels in the country. Now to details of our stories, and the Vehicle and Asset Dealers Association, VADAG, is calling on President Akufo-Addo to address the issues of overbearing taxes being imposed on importers at the country's ports. VADAG members lament that the high duties they are slapped with at the ports is crippling their businesses, and they are expecting that the president will speak to these concerns in his address to the nation today. President Akufo-Addo is expected to use the occasion to highlight key policy objectives of his government for the year, as well as provide information on how the government intends to address economic conditions. Here is the General Secretary of VADAG, Clifford Amanso, or their expectations in this year's SONA.
We expect the President to talk about the duty increments. A lot of tax components have been placed on our duty, and as a result, it's killing our businesses. The VAT has been now increased, so that makes a lot of things difficult for us at the harbor. The recent rating exercise by Yoku, that also, in fact, you expect President to touch on that, because those cars that, according to them, were stolen were really examined, inspected here in Ghana, and they found out that those cars were not stolen at the time that they were clearing them, and we asked to pay duties on that. So we don't see why that these cars have been impounded for a very long time, and President has never been. I don't know whether he's aware or he's not aware. There's no way that President can say that he's not even aware of this exercise. So we expect him to talk about that, because of that exercise, some of our customers now even feel uneasy to come to our garages to buy the cars from us, because they think that Yoko also issued a statement that if customers are going to buy cars from garages, due diligence should be exercised and all that. And as a result, people fear now to go to garages to buy. And these are some of the issues that we are now facing, which of course is putting a lot of danger in our operations.
That was the General Secretary of the Vehicle and Asset Dealers Association, VADAG, Clifford Manso. Meanwhile, President of the Traders Advocacy Group, Ghana, David Amoateng, stated that his outfit expects the government to peg the dollar rate at the ports to enable traders plan their operations.
We've been entreating this government, especially the Minister of Finance, to peg the rates because it's making business difficult. Because if the rate is pegged at the various ports, it makes the importer, the trader, work become easy in projecting into the future how much the person is going to pay as duty. Because me going to bring our stuff, I don't even know the rate that they will use in calculating the import duties. You get it? So we are pleading. I don't even see the reason why this thing, we've been talking about this thing since 2017. Just peg the rate. Let's do it quarterly. Beginning, we are wishing for even a year. But if you can't do it yearly, let's start with quarterly. Every quarter, if I know the rate is around even 9 to $1, 9 cedis to $1, then in going out, I can prepare. And if that is done, believe you me, even some traders are even willing to pay the duty before the goods comes here.
That was President of the Traders Advocacy Group, Ghana, TAG, David Amoateng. Now, still on the presentation of the State of the Nation address, economist Dr. Patrick Ashaiman is anticipating that the president will indicate a more comprehensive fiscal policy measure which will address the current economic crisis confronting the country. In an interview with Citi Business News, Dr. Ashaiman stressed that the president must detail the advancement his government has made with both the domestic and external debt program.
It would be great to hear the additional specific fiscal measures. Don't forget that there's been many opportunities, starting with the budget and then also some of the demands that have been made on the government. For the government to come up with, especially on the fiscal side, some additional revenue and the expenditure measures. And those opportunities have been passed on. So it will be interesting to see what else the president comes up with. But I'm not expecting anything groundbreaking from tomorrow's presentation. Yes, I will expect that the president will give some update on where we stand with the debt exchange program. The domestic one is completed. The one with foreign creditors are still ongoing. So it will be good for the president to provide some updates where we are, and then also where we are headed with the IMF program. And beyond the IMF program, what else the government is planning to do to help with the recovery of the economy. But again, I think those updates are necessary, and I also expect the president to give a credible assessment of the true state of the economy, where the economy actually is, and then also try and rally Ghanaians around their program that they are undertaking.
That was economist Dr. Patrick Esuming. Away from that, the Africa Center for Energy Policy, ACEP, is calling on government to relook some of its policies, such as the cash waterfall allocation platform, as it is not fully serving its purpose. This follows government's assurance to the independent power producers that it is taking the necessary steps to address the energy sector arrears of over $1.3 billion as part of its external debt restructuring. Commenting on government's decision, Executive Director of ACEP, Benjamin Wache, also called for the implementation of innovative strategies to address the issue.
The outstanding is substantial. 1.3 billion is a lot of money, but the problem is bigger than the outstanding. So even if you are negotiating for some relief on the outstanding, how do you address the recurrent, which is even far bigger than the outstanding, debt? Because the debt is being accumulated every single day, and there isn't enough strategy to deal with it. What I saw in the release, the cash waterfall mechanism and the rest of it, they've been there all these years and failed to really deliver on it. And with the current depreciation of the cedi, and inflation, the costs in the sector are really going to go up. And you need to be able to recover that through efficiency, intervention that really allows ECG, NETCO to be able to sell power, recover revenue, and address the payment requirements of the sector.
That was the Executive Director of the Africa Center for Energy Policy, ACEP, Benjamin Wache. Now, on the interbank foreign exchange market, where banks trade amongst themselves, the dollar remained unchanged and is selling at 11 cedis 2 pesos. The British pound lost 1 peso and is selling at 13 cedis 1 pesos. The euro is also selling at 11 cedis 7 pesos. It recorded no price change. However, at some forex bureaus in the capital, the dollar is selling for 12 cedis 85 pesos, while the British pound is selling at 14 cedis 90 pesos and the euro at 13 Ghana cedis. Let's now join Gillian Hammer for part 2 of the topic, 10 tips for teaching your child about money.
As we focus on teaching our children about money, we will cover another 3 tips today. Remember, the first 4 were 1. Appeal to different learning styles. 2. Consider their age in your approach. 3. Find and use key teaching opportunities. And 4. Speak in familiar terms. Number 5 is teach one thing at a time. Focus each lesson on one key learning. For example, if you spend your money on this, you can't spend it on that. Then back it up with facts or a summary message. Number 6 is use memory aids. Finding ways to help your children remember their money lessons, whether it's an acronym or a list or a golden rule, can play a big part in making sure they take your teachings to heart. Number 7 is use the spend, save, and give tool. Simply get 3 clear plastic containers and label each one with either spend, save, or give. Then anytime your child gets money, be it a birthday gift, an allowance, or something else, encourage them to share the money between the 3 containers. You can encourage your child to put 10% in the gift jar, and when it is full, it can be donated to church or a charity of their choice. The remaining money should be split between the spend and save containers. If your child is saving for something big, then he or she can place more money in that container.
That was Gillian Hammer of Data Bank. And that does it for the breakfast edition of City Business News, proudly brought to you by MTN and Goyle, and powered by your most comprehensive business news website, citybusinessnews.com. My name is Michael Obudu. Thank you for listening. Have a good business day, and as always, please stay safe.
If home is where the heart is, then let's go home, shall we? Let's go where the entertainment is, where the passion is, where the laughter is, and sometimes even the tears too. Let's go where we feel safe enough to share our opinions.
And send tweets.
Where we do that embarrassing little dance to our favorite song. Let's go home where the love, the care, and the joy live.
There's no place like home. Connect your home to super fast internet with affordable data bundles from MTN Home. Visit broadband.mtn.com.gh or your My MTN app to sign up today. MTN.
I nearly gave up on driving out of frustration. What hadn't I done? Edging, replacing electrical parts, changing my fuel pump, and still, the engine noise in my car won't stop. Then I met this guy who said I should try Goyle fuel. By the way, my name is Thomas. I did try Goyle Super XP Ron 95. Now my car is renewed. Yankongwa!
Goyle stocks only higher grade fuels, further enriched with XP3, multifunctional enhancer, more efficient, eco-friendly, and at no extra cost. Available at every Goyle station. Ajibebia. Goyle Super XP Ron 95 and Diesel XP. Higher grade fuels, excellent for modern engines and all vehicles. Goyle, good energy. Yeah, yeah,
Join the conversation on the Citi Breakfast Show on Facebook at facebook.com/Citi97.3, Twitter at twitter.com/Citi973, and Instagram at instagram.com/Citi973 with the hashtag CitiCBS.
12 minutes past 7 is the Wednesday edition Citi Breakfast Show. Kickoff is next, brought to you by Lesheho. If you are a private school targeting to buy a school bus sometime this year, don't wait. Come, let's talk about our competitive school bus loan with convenient payment terms. Call 057-411-7851. Let's do it together. Lesheho, let's improve life. And if anyone had told me I would be a mathematician or cartographer, just dodging potholes, using shortcuts to keep my fuel running, I would never have believed them. But now Shell has given us a way out. We go further with Shell Fuel Save. Shell Fuel Save triple action formula improves engine efficiency, provides or prevents deposit buildup, and protects your engine from wear and corrosion. Makes your engine extra clean, extra protection and extra savings all available. Switch to Shell Fuel Save today because extra kilometers go a long way. Benjamin Inketia is joining us with Kickoff. Welcome, Ben.
Good morning, Bernard. Let's get into the headlines. And former Asante Kotoko striker Eric Bequin blames poor attendance at Ghana Premier League games on the poor quality of players. Now, Chelsea progressed to the quarterfinals of the UEFA Champions League, while Bayern Munich take on PSG tonight. In the NBA, there were wins for the Mavericks, the Sixers, and the Los Angeles Lakers. And let's get to the details now. Former Asante Kotoko striker Eric Bequin believes the lack of quality players plying their trade in the Ghana Premier League is to blame for the poor attendance at match venues. In recent weeks, concerns have been raised about the lack of spectators at various league venues for Ghana Premier League matches. Now, according to Bequin, fans are not attracted to the Ghana League due to the drop in standards.
When it comes to the Premier League, way back, we go for quality, not quantity. You understand? The experience too cannot be bought from the shop. It's been built. And those days, the likes of Nana Hindia, Stephen Odro, Ismail Yati, Ismail Ado and co, they've gone through the core sectors and they've gone through all the range to get to the premier level. It is today that any player can just jump into House of Folk First 11, Kotoko First 11. But way back, they will come and buy your star from your team, weaken your team, and go and bench that star. But for now, who are you mentioning? Who are you calling? Who is your reason why you are going to the stadiums? Because everything possible has been done, but still. So it tells you how we are lacking the quality. And look at the premier top teams when they are playing against the second division teams, because they are equals. Most of them just came back from the second, the first. But before, you need to play to the highest level because there's no Matrai Makwe in House of Folk and Kotoko.
You had former Asante Kotoko striker Eric Bequin speaking there. Let's get to some other news. And technical director of PSV Eindhoven, Ernest Faber, believes having football competitions across all ages is an important part of developing young players. Now, Faber made these comments during a working visit to the Atram de Vissier Academy, which is owned by former Black Stars and Great Olympics forward Godwin Atram.
No, the advantage of the Dutch system is the competition. We have, for every age, we have a very good competition, and if you are developing young players, then it's very important that you have a good competition between all ages. So the best train with the best play against the best, and every age, and then we decide that young players go in higher ages to get more resistance. That's important. Find the right resistance for every age you have. No matter the age, could be 15 or 18, because we are all considering ages in youth development. But when you are playing on the highest level, the age doesn't count anymore. Then it's good or bad. So in preparation of that situation, put them always in big resistance.
So you had Ernest Faber, who is PSV Eindhoven's technical director. Let's move on to some other stuff and let's get to the UEFA Champions League. Last night, some big results came through from the round of 16. Let's get to last night's action. Benfica Football Club, they took Club Brugge of Belgium to the cleanest, thumping them by 5-1 in that particular one. So 7-1 is how that game ended on aggregate. Benfica march on to the quarterfinals of the Champions League, and then it was Chelsea Football Club overcoming a difficult first leg to win by 2-0 at home to knock out Borussia Dortmund. Let's get some reaction from the camp of Chelsea. Raheem Sterling and Kai Havertz have been speaking.
Yeah, it was a massive performance. We had to dig deep. I mean, we took our chances. Recently we haven't had the luck, and tonight we felt it as a team, and we knew we could do it. And Kai done it in the end. The second time definitely, but again I see Kai shoot penalties a lot of times in training, and bro, I was so confident. Even though he missed the first one, he knew exactly what he was doing, and he was confident again, and we knew he was going to put it in the back of the net.
I don't know anymore, but I just thought, oh no, I don't know. But then obviously, the referee let me retake the penalty, so of course I was a bit nervous, but at the end I scored, and that's the most important.
Yeah, it takes a lot of courage to step up again, and not only did you do that, you put it in exactly the same spot.
Yeah, I mean, I tried to wait, to look at the keeper, and I saw that he's going to go again for this side, so obviously the second one was a bit easier.
So you heard Chelsea forwards Raheem Sterling and Kai Havertz speaking there. Let's hear from Jude Bellingham of Borussia Dortmund sharing his thoughts after his team's defeats.
I've not really seen the incident back. I don't know if I'm going to get to it, but I've not seen the incident back
from where I was, it looked like it was pretty close, and I'm not sure what more he can do with the hands. But yeah, I don't want to get in trouble. I've played enough to them lot. So, but yeah, I think that in itself was disappointing, and then the fact that they've had a retake, I think it's a joke. I think for every penalty, especially when you have such a slow runner, there's going to be people encroaching to the yards, to the box by a yard or so. But that's the game, I suppose. He's made the decision, and we've had to live with it.
You had Jude Bellingham of Borussia Dortmund. Now today, there's Bayern Munich taking on Paris Saint-Germain. Is Bayern leading by 1-0 from the first leg? PSG will be seeking to overturn that deficit. Tottenham Hotspur will also host AC Milan at the Tottenham Stadium. AC Milan lead by 1-0 from the first leg. Now Spurs manager Antonio Conte wants to install the desire to win something every season in his team.
For me, this season represents a success if we fight, fight to be competitive, to win something. Yeah, and I think that this has to be our target, and Tottenham as a club has to needed to have this target every season to fight for something important, to fight to win. And, but to win is not easy. It's not easy. It's not simple, and I think we are in the country that is the more difficult country to win something.
So you heard Antonio Conte, who is Tottenham Hotspur head coach there. That's how the action will break down tonight in the UEFA Champions League. Let's move on to some other stuff. And Liverpool veteran James Milner has been made a member of the Order of the British Empire for his services to football and to charity. The former Man City midfielder was presented with the honor by Prince William in the investiture ceremony on Tuesday before sharing a laugh with one another. Now, the 37-year-old has spent 2 decades in the top flight, winning every domestic trophy at club level, including the Premier League title, the Champions League, the UEFA Super Cup, and the FIFA Club World Cup.
Yeah, pretty surreal. Like I say, amazing. Feel very fortunate to come down and receive it. Coming to a place like this, and obviously a lot of hard work gone into it on the football side from a lot of people. I feel fortunate that the people I've worked with, the people who have helped me within my football career, and then on the charity side as well, my family and my wife, and all the people who have helped us raise so much money for the James Milner Foundation. Hopefully all those people feel proud today as well, and that's a accumulation of their hard work and their support also.
So you heard Liverpool veteran James Milner speaking there. Let's get to some other news. In the Ghana Football Association, in collaboration with development partners Betway, will organize a leadership and development training program today for Women's League administrators. Now, this forms part of this year's International Women's Day. The mentorship program for the Northern Sector will take place at the Lancaster Hotel in Kumasi, while the Labadi Beach Hotel in Accra will host the Southern Sector. Let's get to some NBA action to close out the bulletin. And the Dallas Mavericks needed big scoring nights from Kyrie Irving and Luka Doncic to beat the Utah Jazz. The Wizards won on the road against the Pistons. Giannis and the Bucks were up against the Magic. They won that one 134-123. And then the New York Knicks finally losing a game, this time at home to the Charlotte Hornets. In the other games that were played, the Sixers were winners against the Timberwolves. The Lakers also were winners over the Memphis Grizzlies. Big night for Anthony Davis again. And then it was more worry and woe for the Golden State Warriors. 128-137 is how they lost to the OKC Thunder. The Brooklyn Nets were winners when they took on the Houston Rockets on the road. That's all for this morning's edition of Kickoff. My name is Benjamin Nketia, the small sport at citysportsonline.com.
Trust the process. The biggest things often start small. No matter where you are now, the most important decision you will make today is knowing where you'll be tomorrow. All you have to do is take the next step, believe in your journey, and go with passion. Because when you go with passion, you go big. You explore the possibilities. You create the tomorrow of your dreams. So come along and let's go big with our passion. Apply for a loan now and power your ambitions. Get plugged in. Let's go big. Powered by Lesieho.
extra, extra. Let me tell you all about it.
Hey, Dolomistic. You and this your extra thing. I beg, tell me about it.
Abenquine, look, extra is what you and your car get when you switch to Shell Fuel Save. Extra protection, extra clean, and extra savings. You get it?
And no, I mean, tell me extra.
Shell Fuel Save is designed to improve engine efficiency instantly and with triple action formula that helps protect your engine from wear, corrosion, and deposits. So you get extra kilometers out of your drive.
Sir, and you're not extra, good for your engine. Extra, good for your pocket.
Extra kilometers goes a long way. Switch to Shell Fuel Save today. Go well.
Join the conversation on the Citi Breakfast Show on Facebook at facebook.com/Citi97.3, Twitter at twitter.com/Citi973, and Instagram at instagram.com/Citi973 with the hashtag CitiCBS.
In life, choice is good, but choice plus safety is way better. Your safety and comfort is paramount. Under the cylinder recirculation model, you can buy LPG in a safe environment. All cylinders are inspected and maintained to the best safety standards, so your safety is assured. Just take your empty cylinder to the nearest exchange point and swap it for a filled cylinder. Different cylinder sizes will be available to meet your...
Ago.
the song. You can go and cook rice and come. He hasn't been the intro. Because he has time.
Yes, that's right. It is live. They are playing the instruments live. Everything on point, recording live.
Yeah. So, Charlie, give me Adrian music.
And those things are missing in today's music.
At this time, there's no time. The youth of today is not only the microwave that we have. We also have microwave music. You know how Fela wants to do a song?
Yes.
Then he'll start and he'll give himself like 13 minutes. In the 13 minutes, the first 4 minutes is just instrumentation to warm up.
Yeah, but we used to have that in our Highlife.
Yes. But two things have changed. The media. So like media, a lot of people want airplay. So a lot of these artists were not doing their songs for airplay. They were doing it for live performances.
Yes.
But these days when you are doing a song, when you get a beat, you say, hey, Aloski, by 3 minutes, no, you have entered the song. So that's one. And also, people don't take time to invest in lyrics as much. The storytelling is not as strong these days because
it's all about some woman.
It's also because the DJ culture and I think people want songs that they can do back to back. So it's quick. Let's move the song along, you know.
But you see, the last time I went to Citi TV, Tasano, and Kwampa was performing.
Charlie.
You could feel there's some power.
Charlie. Some people born on Sunday. La 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 la. And then they have taken this cloth thing we used to do. Savo.
Yes.
And then they are playing the drum.
Charlie.
These are university graduates.
Can you imagine? And to be able to play the instruments and sing
at the same time, it's not easy.
Charlie, the level of dexterity I'm
telling you, I met them on Tuesday, was it Monday, and I took a photo with them. They are just an amazing example of some of the things we like about our musicians. So let me do. So this is for all those of you in traffic this morning. So if you are late to work, this is Jedu Bleambole. For many years, this was Sky's favorite.
Charlie, it remains. Charlie.
It's like you get a car with good breeze, a proper like Bose system.
Thank you.
You raise it and you're on the Accra Kumasi Road.
Yes.
Oh my God. Nice. This is just the start too. It's warming up.
The mom and the papa, and when you know, rock and so. Everyone of you want them, I can be say. Everyone of you want them, I can be say. Yeah. I can be San Mama, pasa. Yeah. I can be San Mama, pasa.
Charlie, what's he be saying? Oh my God. Happy birthday to Mr. Fred Adu, former COO of Fair Sky Commodities and Produce Buying Company. We honor and appreciate you, Daddy. Lots of love from Frida, the rich Adu kids, your grandchildren, and the entire family.
And let me do this one, coming in from Sandra Iram Ati. A belated birthday wish to Dr. Phyllis Kwame Avle of APSA, Department of Accounting. She's wishing you a glorious birthday. As you celebrate your birthday, may God grant you a healthy life always. God bless you for your humility.
Happy birthday to Innocent Ousu, an immigration officer at Ho. May this day mark the beginning of more blessings, favor, and good health from your colleague officers at Ho. And to a dear friend, Peace Donuki Spioboso of NIB. It only takes a special woman to celebrate a birthday on the day set aside to honor all women globally. Happy birthday to Engineer Engineer Nai Opete Omai the third, Sanahini of Ewutu Traditional Area, District Manager ECG Adenta, CEO Forest Grove Hotel, Ewutu Breku, and founder Amazing Books Company. Charlie, this is a proper entrepreneur. Quiet. From your siblings and your wives. Oh no. Let's take the whole thing again. Happy birthday to Engineer Nai Opete Omai the third, Sanahini of Ewutu Traditional Area, District Manager ECG Adenta, CEO Forest Grove Hotel Ewutu Breku, and founder Amazing Books Company Kaswa. From your siblings and your wives, William Yao Ansa, CEO Origin 8, Edward Ansa, Director of Audit Kumasi Technical University, and Joseph Ofosu Ansa, ECG Accra West, and from Vida Sandra Maihina Rita. Charlie, the man is a big man.
Charlie, no,
the man is a major character. Charlie, big man.
He's a man of timber and caliber.
Charlie, too good.
And then birthday wishes as well to a living legend of our football, born on this day in 1934.
Oh,
he's 89 years old
let me
today.
Guess. Dodo.
Yes, Dodo
Ankra, one of the best goalkeepers we've ever had.
Yes, aka Magic Hands, Edward Dodo Ankra.
He's 89.
He's 89 today. Today is his birthday. That's our own Nakwama's daddy.
Wonderful.
Yes, so happy birthday for
today.
us.
What I want you to do is all your Highlife songs must be about women. You know, the first one was Ajwa Yankee, and then we have Ajwa Misa.
Why is it that Ajwa they are inside?
There's even another one. Ajwa
Bam Bam.
Ajwa
Bam Bam.
So we are the Ajwa people. They have something.
Yeah.
But the other women's songs, so.
Yeah, there's one by I don't know.
Yo, there's Sewakoto.
Sewakoto.
Yeah,
it's also
And there's another one too.
And then also Miyawo Kumasi. I mean,
but the best one is by Wulome.
Yeah.
Akosia Sewa.
What you gonna do?
Akosia Sewa just spoil everything for the man.
Takradi police. I fear police. Secret police.
And you know, the Takradi Fante is different from the Cape Coast Fante. Because the Takradi Fante, the accountant was telling me that, you see, what happens is that the Fante gets mixed with the local. So the people in Takradi are hunter.
Yeah.
So they and the Fante, they mix it. So it's a very different delicacy of Fante. It's different. The Cape Coast one is very brothel-like, you know. But this one's Charlie.
It's raw.
Yeah. So when you see Kofi Kinata, you see Jedouble, Ambole, the palace, the palace, they do their own things, you know what I'm saying?
Baba Superintendent, Jewere Mazo, I your business.
If you ever went to school with somebody from Takrady and they are really talking their Takrady talk, you will just enjoy them. Special good morning to my friend William Nkumsa on the hill in Sekondi. By the way, this morning on the Heritage Honors series, we'll be talking about routes on the way to Cape Coast. My guest will be telling me about towns like Anomabo, Saltpond, Mori, and all the very interesting places you see on your way from Mankezim to Cape Coast. Comansi and Co. I see this song is the bass that makes it.
That's right.
The bass in the song.
Right. That's right. And the way he's always taking it one step at a time.
Yeah. And then he does the boogie.
Yeah.
The boogie.
You do that thing. Jedouble Ambole.
Too good. So for Ajumisa is in a comfortable lead, but I know some women are also getting ready to. Which one is this? Angelina.
That's right.
This is sick. Which one is this?
No, this is
Baby Crescent. I noticed all the song, the women have done something. Charlie, the women do something. Actually, sir, my mama is a pastor. Angelina, why you do me so? Hey, Charlie, women.
Angelina, why you want to do me so? Angelina, why you want to do me so?
Imagine a day where we just relive all the Takrady born Highlife greats.
Charlie,
back to back.
Unleash them.
Oh my God. It's amazing. Anyway, you can grab your favorite Coca-Cola Classic. It's only 5 cedis for the 300 ml bottle.
You there for my house?
There's also Coke Zero, a Fante and a Sprite plastic bottle for only 4 cedis. That's the 300 ml. If you want a 1.5 liter, it's 20 cedis for the classic and 18 cedis for the Zero, Fanta or Sprite. Bring the excitement and fun to all your occasions and enjoy the real ice cold refreshment with friends and family.
I go tell you, Papa.
Are you finding it challenging managing our value-added services on Vodafone? The Vodafone Content Manager now allows you to check, control, and subscribe to value-added services with ease.
Agree.
Be in control of your mobile content subscription and choose the type of content that suits your style. Dial *463# or visit my Vodafone app now to conveniently manage all your content subscriptions. Vodafone, further together. Charlie, we've lost some of these guys. So we lost Papa Yankson, lost CK Man, and I think Tema also lost AB Krensel not too long ago. Oh, Charlie. I noticed that the role of port cities, because of the intermingling of cultures and the nightlife. That's right. People who live in Tema and when I was impressed, like the people from Tema and Takrady, their eyes were very open.
Yeah, because they are exposed to the.
Yeah, they were Charlie. I mean, nightclub can be.
And long before the airports came,
Charlie, they were
immediate interface.
Yeah, so they Charlie. If you meet the real Tema boy, hardcore guy. Right. And then if his uncle works at the port, there's even worse. He's driving a car already.
Thank you.
From 2, he has a car. Charlie. Anyway, now it was right after his studies in recycle management that Paul Kofi accepted the challenge of building houses with plastic waste. So not only does he help in recycling waste to save the environment, Paul provides jobs for many Ghanaians. Absa, this is what we call Africanacity, the distinct ability of the Ghanaian to always get things done. It's our commitment to help people find a way to get things done. To find out more, visit absa.com.gh. But how do you have a happy tune for a woman who did you bad? That's one I can recall. I mean, all the songs, Adjo Yankee, Adjo Misa, and this one. The songs are very jolly, but the storyline is not that happy.
Yeah.
Angelina do them,
they do them so.
But maybe he's getting over it. So the lesson is that if somebody does you will just get over it and sing a nice song. He's lamenting, but it's a nice beat.
Angelina, you be wayo woman. Because if I dey go for work, you do they go for cinema.
And you notice the Nigeria angle. You be wayo woman. You go do me wayo. So you can tell that a lot of these musicians, the time they spend in Nigeria, influence even their language and choice of words.
Exactly. Because the guitar you there, where I take you now.
And of course the guitar.
Sister Beth, come. You dey resemble my sister proper. Oh, me I think say you be my sister. Oh.
This is Juliana.
Name. Juliana. Oh, only your voice.
And happy birthday to Na Ayokochum Barima of Taught to Teen School, coming in from Anoma. Na Ayokochum Barima. I think Anoma is your father, I believe. Anoma.
Anoma is an MPU.
Yeah, he's an MP. Yeah, MP for Doma East. He's a big man.
I saw some girl, he resemble my sister. Then I called the girl.
Side question, which is the best woman Highlife song? We've already done Adra Yankee, we've done Adre Misa, we've done Angelina, and then we are doing Juliana.
Now you make her say she takes some voice and said, I'm Juliana. She takes some voice and said, I'm Juliana. Oh, Juliana. Oh, Julie. Only your voice, oh. Only your voice. Only your eyes, oh. Only your eyes. Only your shape, oh. Only your shape.
Oh, Julie.
Charlie. Bernard, more messages.
Oh, my God.
Let me take a few of them. Yes. Good morning, Bernard. Please wish Lieutenant Commander Michael Tete Donko, a.k.a. Shepherd Opambo of the Ghana Forces Command and Staff College, the Senior Division, a happy birthday. My prayer for him is for God to bless his new age and grant him good health and long life. That's coming in from Kobe inside Lashibi. This one says that, good morning, CBS. Kindly wish Imon Nunana Guta of Cribs to Crayon Montessori School at Lashibi. An incredible happy birthday. He is 5 years today. The message is, may God increase you in wisdom and stature and in favor with good God and men. And then he's saying that we love you so much. It's coming in from Edmond and Comfort Gota, who are in Lashibi, and they are your parents. And this one says, good morning. We want to wish our son Theophilos Kwamena Hasford of Afajoy International School, BS3, a happy 9th birthday today.
In the meantime, La Bianca Company, the leading frozen food company in Ghana, is at it again. In support of the local poultry industry and in promoting made in Ghana goods, we introduce Akoko Tasty, locally produced bread and slaughtered. It's fresh frozen chicken with portions in breast, thigh, wings, back, and gizzard. La Bianca is the sole distributor of Akoko Tasty. For your fresh quality frozen food, contact La Bianca Company Limited at the Fishing Harbour, Temanu Town Road, opposite NIB. Call 0505-431-111 for more information. La Bianca, your number one frozen foods company. Good morning, Bernard. From your Make It Ghana week, I have purchased Kinky Matters. I've also bought M. Sims and Horseman shoes. So he's done 3 made in Ghana products in the week. Kinky Matters is hair products from Lydia Forson. M. Sims is Mabel Simpson's accessories and bags. Horseman shoes, Toyin Senaya, Horseman shoes. So what made in Ghana have you done this week? Yesterday I ate gogo rice.
That's good.
From Kosi Honyo. He gave me some gogo rice.
You were managing.
He has harvested. Oh, he gave it to me at Christmas.
Yeah, so he's eating his small.
And you know the good thing. You know that these days, when we cook local rice, they don't even say it's local rice again. Yeah. You know, in the past, Sunday, Kwame came to tell me, say, you need rice. And I said, rice, so they are kind of local rice. Actually, coming. This was like 2 years ago. But now, when there's Ghana rice, there's rice.
There's rice.
And when there's everything they eat.
That's right.
Now it means that we have changed their taste.
Making it Ghana.
Yeah, so now they don't say, well, this is Ghana rice. No, they eat.
Yes, it's right.
So I've succeeded in doing something in my house. So that was somebody's local made in Ghana credentials. Now, is the Imperial Insure and Win promo from now to end of March. Insure your vehicle with Imperial General Assurance and win handsome rewards. Just insure and pick your reward, whether it's fuel coupon, gift vouchers, special souvenirs, or others. Call 0302-788-955 or 0577-667-436. Imperial General Solid Protection. I want to argue that, Sky, of all the songs about women, the one that is the most painful is the one done by Wulome.
Wulome. Which of them?
Akosia Sewa. Akosia Sewa, he not try at all.
He not try, cry.
The Akosia Sewa, he do the mania.
Where's the story?
Oh, you listen. The thing Akosia Sewa do. Oh, Godfrey, where's Akosia Sewa? This is the last one before taking social media trends. Akosia Sewa. Akosia don't try at all. Charlie, Akosia no try. To force a gunman to sing in tree self. Charlie, Sky. You don't try. Akosia Sewa, Minya Ushiwa Sisa Udiama na Uko. Diawala da Onunsuno. Charlie, is that what time Akosia show the guy Pepe?
Show Pepe, Atali.
Now listen to the solo.
Akosia Sewa, Adiawa Yemi Wama Rewa Kami. Minya Bibia, Nansu Wasisa Udiama Jam Hako. Odo ye diampa, if you say Ukwana to me Dakra. Yawada Daunu, Ununu Konami Kamibia. Messia Bote, Jamia Jonti, Menya de Tisewu. Eka Mabo Unsu, Nini Nachewo, Sana Yaziti, Minonyami.
Charlie, if you are Akosia Sewa and a man is blessing you like this, you should be worried about the blessing.
Charlie.
You actually you have collected your things and left the man
without any cause, any just cause.
Yeah. So the man said, the man will deceive you. You then you fair. May God bless you. Charlie, this one you need a strong deliverance team to break the curse.
You need also for Bauli related matters.
Charlie, the man sounds like somebody from Choco. It's Akosia Sewa.
Hey,
Akosia don't try.
No, but there are still many Akosia Sewas in the system.
This is to all the Akosias in the system.
Yes.
Yeah, if you're Akosia, enjoy this song. It's 8 o'clock. It's time for Tech and Social Media Trends. It's brought to us by Vodafone and Carl Bank. Robert.
Yes.
What is trending this morning?
Well,
apart from International Women's Day.
Well, actually, it is trending at number 2 in Ghana, International Women's Day. But trending at number 1 is Ashaiman, of was
trending.
Yes, it's trending at number 1, number 4. Ghana Armed Forces is trending at number 6, and that's also because the statement that was released, I think was late last night or this morning.
It came this morning.
It came this morning. Yes. A lot of people are engaging with that particular statement. So, for instance, let me just take the Ghana Armed Forces trend, for instance, trending at number 6. Basically, every major journalist in this country has tweeted it. A couple of comments also associated with it. But basically, everybody just says Ghana Armed Forces explains the reasons behind the Ashaiman raid. Richard Scott already read that. We'll go into some more details on this later on. And then just to move out of there, well, I'm just at Dortmund and Chelsea are trending. Right, Sterling is also
Chelsea
trending.
has won a match. Their fans are not happy.
Yeah,
because they want their coach to lose. Hey, they want their coach to lose, so he'll be sacked. So when he wins, they won't celebrate. This is what they call Bomwenhi. Nice guy.
You know, the guy should be sacked. This is not going to pacify anybody. The boys merely did what they could do. It was not any taxes, anything. He should be fired.
Okay, we're here.
He will stay for the next 4 years.
Quick update. There's a lot happening with TikTok.
What's happening there?
Well, the US is trying to pass. There's a law that is being passed by the Biden administration that watchers say could potentially allow them to ban the use of TikTok. You know, there have been significant.
So concerned about TikTok?
Well, the US has been concerned because they're saying that it might contain spyware.
Not even the Europeans are also concerned.
So
yes.
Who makes TikTok?
No, it's a Chinese company called ByteDance.
Because it's from China.
Yes. Hey. Now, there are other reasons. Well,
Facebook there doesn't contain spyware.
Let me tell you a couple of things that TikTok has been up to. So, TikTok has been planning on taking on the search ad market, which is dominated by Google and Microsoft. And advertising insiders are saying that TikTok is showing all the signs of an imminent search ads rollout. Now, if you know how much that market is worth, it's worth $112 billion, and it's split between Google and Microsoft mostly. So a third force coming in, some say, yes, might disrupt the market. You know, so that's something to look out for. Let me see. Also, there's a new there's a new report on where Netflix is cheapest. You'll understand why India has one of the lowest fees for Netflix, and you can also check out why Ghana, we pay how much we pay for it. And then finally, to wrap this up, Kenya's regulatory body for competition. We have one in Ghana. We don't have
yes, we are working on it. We have a competition law that this guy called CATs have been working on. So there's a draft law.
Okay.
It's probably getting to the final stages of passing.
Okay, so Kenya's own, they are working and they are taking a look into food and grocery delivery platforms.
Yes.
Yeah,
they have been concerned about the Chinese influence in their retail market, and I'm sure this is part of the whole conversation.
So they are reviewing how platforms like Glovo, Bolt, Uber, and Jumia are using customer data, their acquisition channels, and other mechanisms. So this says that this inquiry will identify players and services involved in the food delivery and groceries platforms business and examine the relationship between the platform and the users with focus on competition parameters.
Yo, bro, I beg, make you give me correct shock absorber. Or make I do video concept, then take the Gaussian P for the engine show you.
Hey, yawa, every morning you the tear calls, they browse, actually something they.
Hey, Tago, the way town make hot, I grow best one if you no po. If it be you where you get Vodafone 1 Ghana promo them out, 20 minutes talk time to call all networks, where you start get data and 1 gig from 5 a.m. to 11:59 a.m. Bang! Anka, you go do pass me safe, Anka. You dial *530# hash. Make we enjoy. You go fit subscribe as many times as you want.
Yes, plantain.
Yo, sweet Ama, take this by Vodafone 1 Ghana bundle. Moku vibe plus video calls and taste. You catch the vibe. Early morning, 5 a.m. sharp.
Vodafone, further together. Join the conversation on the Citi Breakfast Show on Facebook at facebook.com/Citi97.3, Twitter at twitter.com/Citi973, and Instagram at instagram.com/Citi973 with the hashtag CitiCBS.
There's no price like the ShopRite price. That's why we are committed to bringing you lower prices on all the essentials you need. Like 160-gram Lily Light Tuna Meat, only 17 cedis, 99 pesos worth, and 125-gram can Abina Sardine in vegetable oil, just 8 cedis, 99 pesos worth. Never pay more than the ShopRite price. Prices valid until 12th March, only at ShopRite.
Keys. What could be simpler than a key? Who doesn't have a key? A car key, an office key, a drawer key. But there's one key that rules them all. The house key. The key to a place we call home. The key to the home where everything comes together. The key to a home that is our own. A home where we make life happen with our families and loved ones. Adoha has been working hard for over 30 years to make home ownership within reach for many. Say yes to property with Adoha. Your dream home is one call away. Your dream home is a few clicks away. Visit our Accra project, The Place, by calling 030-2789-757.
Comfort, durability, finishing, quality. Choosing sofas and beds for your home, office, or hotel couldn't be easier with an exclusive range of sofas and beds in various designs and colors from latex foam. There is so much choice, whatever your budget. Latex foam, your partner for life.
There are moments in life when you're just so scared and you feel like just giving up. Oh, but Dino Milk is saying, we know that you can do it. Believe in yourself and then go for it. Go for it. Nourishmental. That is your Dino Milk. Oh.
Choose nourishment. Choose Dino Milk Whole Cow. Your nutritious instant powdered milk.
Dino Milk. Go for it.
This advert is FDA approved.
This is the Citi Breakfast Show. The city's biggest conversation.
Unleashing the power of relevant radio. This is Citi 97.3.
Minutes past 8, Citi Breakfast Show. Let's start with the subject of Ashaiman. Yesterday, were lots of people sending us audio recordings, video recordings, people calling into the show, complaining about military people entering parts of Ashaiman and randomly brutalizing people. The military sent a statement this morning attempting to own the situation, and I wanted to read portions of the statement and then we'll take some comments. So the statement is dated 7th March, but it came through today on the 8th. Personnel of the Ghana Armed Forces on Tuesday, 7th March, conducted a swoop in Ashaiman and its environs in a manhunt for some criminals who are suspected to have stabbed and killed a young soldier, Trooper Imoru Sheriff, in the early hours of Saturday, 4th March at Ashaiman, Taifa. Trooper Sheriff was stationed in Sunyani, was in Accra on a course and had sought permission to visit his parents at Ashaiman, where he grew up, but was found in a pool of blood in the early hours of Saturday near the Amania Hotel in Ashaiman. Ghana Armed Forces wishes to say categorically that the military operation, which was sanctioned by the Military High Command, was not capital NOT to avenge the killing of the soldier, but rather to fish out the perpetrators of the heinous crime. Following the operations in Ashaiman, Taifa, and Tulaku, the military personnel picked up about 184 suspects aged between 21 and 47 years old, and have since handed them over to the military police and subsequently to be sent to the Ghana Police Service for screening and for further action. During the course of their swoop, the personnel seized 29 slabs and 57 mini slabs of suspected Indian hemp and amnesia, among other forms of narcotics. The Ghana Armed Forces also wishes to place on record that the swoop was not targeted at innocent civilians, but was an intelligence-led operation conducted on suspected hideouts of criminals and crime-prone areas in the general area. Ghana Armed Forces, however, acknowledges that, regrettably, some innocent persons might have been caught up in the operation and consequently suffer some distress due to the location they found themselves at that time. Ghana Armed Forces accordingly wishes to urge the general public to provide useful information, support the security agencies in weeding out criminals and miscreants from our communities, and to desist from shielding and conniving with such suspects in order to curb criminal activities in the country. Signed, Brigadier General Agrikwashi, Director General, Public Relations. So that's the statement that we got this morning. Let me play Kwesien's voice first to set the tone. Yesterday, we spoke to him on City Prime News, and he called for a thorough investigation to apprehend and punish both the killers of the soldiers and as well as reprimand the soldiers who brutalized the resident.
Well, I think it's personal indiscipline, a sense of hate, a need to demonstrate that they can punish those who have challenged the authority of the military. So I think there are quite a number of possible reasons. But irrespective of whatever reasons that people may have, I want to make two prefatory remarks. One, that all crimes are punishable by law. But in punishing those crimes, we cannot take the law into our own hands. Two, when a person is in uniform representing the state of Ghana, when you attack that person, irrespective of what reasons you have attacked the state of Ghana. The response mechanism from those who feel offended is that they just need to go to the police. You see, under the rule of law, it is the Ghana Police Service that is the frontline agency that ought to have undertaken the investigations, found the evidence, and then brought the culprits, if they were found, to a court of competent jurisdiction. I think it's unfortunate that friends of this young man who has unfortunately died have taken the law into their hands and brought the reputation of Ghana into disrepute. But I think the army will identify them and will discipline them appropriately.
Prof, what are the security implications of this and what should be done?
Well, I think it undermines the civil-military relations that have been improving slowly over time. And I think when the military of a state indiscriminately brutalizes people, then the anger is not only against the military, but it goes against the government and the state. And particularly in an unstable sub-region where we are based, that sense of frustration and anger can then be hijacked and then transformed into something else. So, I mean, such things should not happen. They are well trained enough not to take the law into their hands and to antagonize the people that they are supposed to protect.
All right, so this interview was done yesterday before the military came to own the situation.
Yes.
So as of the time the interview was held, the feeling was that these were some people who had taken the law into their own hands as on an unofficial operation of a reprisal attack. Now, the military high command is now saying that this was an intelligence-led, sanctioned military operation. My panelists are struggling to find which law backs such a description. An intelligence-led. So let me read what they say. They say the personnel of the armed forces wish to say categorically that the military operation was sanctioned by the military high command and that it was an intelligence-led operation conducted on suspected hideouts of criminals and crime-prone areas in the general area. So they arrested 184 suspects. 184 suspects. We don't know the geographical size of the Ashaiman, Taifa, Tulaku area, but that's a large area. So, and we don't know the circumstances under which he died. It would be interesting or important to see the police report on this matter in terms of where the gentleman was killed and whether the whole Ashaiman, Taifa, Tulaku area merits such an action. If you think about how police would arrest people when there's a crime, I mean, if somebody is killed and they want to arrest a person, do 184 people within the general area all become suspects who must all be arrested and handed over to the military police and then subsequently to be sent to the Ghana Police Service? I can't believe that this statement was actually sanctioned by the military. I can't believe it. You know, it is full of self-incriminating comments. I mean, I don't know, unless they forget that we are in 2023 with a constitution, or maybe they feel we are still in another era. I don't understand.
Let me begin this. Let me begin this. Yesterday, when this matter came, let me again express my condolences to Trooper Sheriff and his family, and how unfortunate this incident is, you know. And we need to report less of these things. But unfortunately, it's also the nature of the country we live in. Crime does happen. It happens in all kinds of places. There's crime in Ashaiman. There's crime at airport. There's crime at cantonments. There's crime in Dansoman. There's murder in Kumasi. There's murder in Tamale. It happens everywhere, every day. The law is the same for all those things. Where appropriate, they applied. Which is Sky sitting here. I'm sure the other lawyers who are listening. My difficulty with what happened yesterday and why I am not a fan of it, although there are certain people who seem to believe that it was right, I hold a completely different view from this. We live in a country of laws for a reason, you know. And my first point on this is that law enforcement is not a traditional military skill. One, law enforcement, it is not a traditional military skill. That is why it is done by other units of our security services. And when they do it in a highly prescribed legislative regime that ensures appropriate due process. I'm choosing my words very carefully this morning. Appropriate due process. Legislative regime. That is where the police fall under. That is why when the police arrest you, they will tell you that you have been arrested under A, B, C, D. I'm not very familiar with the laws, but Sky, normally that is what will happen. They will tell you, okay, we arrested you because you have done A, B, C, D, which is contrary to the law. So that is the prescribed legislation, and that is what gives them the power. We, as at yet, have not reached a point in our country where our constitution, one, allows the military to enforce the law in peacetime. Unless we are not in peacetime, unless two, as at yesterday, when the military sanctioned what happened yesterday, the designation of Ashaiman by some act of the executive or the legislature had changed
to some state of emergency,
to something else yesterday when the military moved from their barracks. I do not understand how the military sanctioned this. Two, are we, by the statement that has been put out, telling us, being told now that our friends in the military are able to self-sanction their own operations, irrespective of what the purpose is? And that's why I said I was disappointed when I heard the deputy defense minister speak to this and say it was sanctioned. Who sanctioned it? Are the members on the Defense and Interior Committee aware? Were they informed that, the military is leaving with a helicopter, X number of tanks, we are going with 10 soldiers and we are going to Ashaiman? Or what happens is the military conducts its own operations and then comes to report later to... Is that how the country runs?
It's serious.
People should think about it.
It's very serious.
Is that how the military operates now in this country?
Now they have their own laws.
Exactly.
They are law unto themselves.
So when I heard the deputy, who is a parliamentarian, which is why I asked Sky whether he is actually a parliamentarian.
Yeah, to the best of my knowledge, he is.
Where was he speaking?
They interviewed him yesterday. I heard him on 4 or 5 networks yesterday.
Defending this?
Yes, he said he was the first, before this statement came out, he's the first person I heard mention that this was sanctioned. So I asked, who sanctioned it? The Honorable Minister Niti, who sanctioned this? How did he sanction it? Who did he inform? The President sanctioned this? Who did he inform? You see, because then it brings me back to my first point. Highly prescribed legislative regime, law enforcement, that ensures appropriate due process. When you arrest the persons, they must be put through a certain regime, irrespective of the situation. Unless, again, like I said, the designation of assignment changed yesterday
as a war zone
into a zone of combat or conflict yesterday, and the residents in Tulaku, Taifa, whatever, had now been designated as maybe armed combatants or something, which allows the military to do certain things. For the life of me, do not understand how anybody would think what happened yesterday in Ashaiman was right or is right. And it's happened, but it should not happen again. And the people who are the protectors of our law in Parliament, they are the ones I will talk to today, should be very worried by this. The defense minister should actually be very worried that the military can self-sanction. Because that is what they said.
With helicopters and
they can self-sanction.
Enter a community and
of
carry
civilians.
184 people.
And say that we'll later hand them over to the police.
So which operating procedure were they following?
Which law?
184 people.
Who supervised it?
The other point is that Taifa and Tulaku is not like Adabraka, and it's a bit far apart too. So it's a very wide area, because Tulaku is, when you are driving on getting to the Akosombo Road, it's a separate part from Taifa. So it's a very large expanse of area that they went to do that thing. Do you get me? And 184 people are a lot of people. Now, the other point is that we don't know the circumstances under which the person was killed. So, which is why the police should have been the best, because I am reliably informed that when the incident occurred, somebody informed the police, or the police sort of got to know. So a report had been made to the police. So that then takes us to the immediate presence of the crime and the people around the area that the thing happened. And because of the way the police work, they would know specific people to arrest as primary suspects. But if you go to an area as far apart as Taifa and Tulaku, within the Ashaiman area, it's quite a big area, and then you arrest 184 people. That could include somebody going to school, somebody going to work, somebody going to farm. It could include somebody sitting in front of his house. We don't know the method they used to arrest the people. We don't know the right. And you see, when we talk of right, and people come and say, oh, we are talking right. You see, me, I was born in 1981. In those days, in the early 80s, there were curfews. In part of my hometown, when you go at 6 o'clock, they say you go and sleep. When soldiers are unleashed on the streets in a civilian society, it can be very dangerous and devastating. And the the parliamentary and legislative, the executive must let the military know their place in a democracy. Now, because of some of our history and the fact that the military have taken the law into their own hands in many regimes, there's a certain mindset among soldiers that they are above the law. But the point is that it is only the law that empowers you. And I always say that the law that empowers you, if you break it, it means that you are telling us that we shouldn't respect you. Because the only reason why I'll stop when somebody in uniform asks me to stop is because of the law. Otherwise, you're in a jungle. Otherwise, everybody will arm themselves. If you're in a society, so you see, when they say rule of law, it's not rule of the strong. Rule of law means that no matter how offended you are, you go back to law. Otherwise, everybody will go and take weapons and also defend themselves. And this is wrong. So the military have to explain two questions Godfred has asked. The designation of Ashaiman within the period that they did this to prove that this was some sort of unique situation.
Especially when you call it an intelligence-led operation.
And whether other armed security or was
the police there?
So was the police there? If the police were there, why didn't the police issue a statement and say, oh, we did a joint operation with the military? Because of the specific nature of the police. In fact, I think the police need to make a statement. Because if somebody has been killed in a community, it's their job to find out what happened. So is it that the police is now being usurped, or when it comes to a soldier, the police have no role to play?
Do you investigate?
Yeah, and even going back to places where we've had fights between soldiers and police in the country. You've heard that in Kumasi, where two uniform groups are fighting. I'm asking myself, these are supposed to be the most highly disciplined and highly trained group in our society. And they can decide to have a free-for-all fight because maybe a policeman arrested a soldier. And the mindset of the military is very troubling. And today is what? State of the nation. The president cut his teeth in politics, fighting military dictatorship. He shouldn't go and speak in parliament and not talk about this. For a man who cut his teeth as a defender of human rights, for soldiers to enter a town and beat up people randomly, and then now write a statement and say that it was an intelligence-led operation. Arrest 184 people. So with intelligence, then you go 184. Then without intelligence, how many would have arrested? This for me, this should be taken very, very seriously.
And again, I'm reading certain things now. Brigadier General Agri-Kwashi says that an intelligence-led operation conducted on suspected hideouts of criminals and crime-prone areas in the general area. When did the military start marking crime-prone areas in Accra?
I didn't even know that they had that information.
When? It is the Ghana Police Service that designates. You see, that's what the point I'm making. The military need to come and tell us who changed the designation of Ashaiman to Lakutaifa, official town, yesterday. Was it IGP Dampare?
And when did they realize it was a crime-prone area? Was it after the man was killed, or they've always known that?
Known that. You understand? Because they are using very technical terms here. This is a technical document from the person who runs communications, Director General of Public Relations of the Ghana Armed Forces. And he's been doing this for a very long time.
Sky, how scandalous is it for the Defense Minister Deputy to be on air, justifying what happened yesterday, and even prior to the statement, coming to own it? Does it make a difference for the defense ministry to say, we are aware of this? Or it's still beyond their remit? Because the Interior Ministry would be the one to, if there's even something internal, it should not be. I just want your clarity on that, because it will seem as if the defense ministry is seeking to sort of give some backing to what the soldiers did yesterday.
So first of all, if let me proceed on the basis of not having previously heard the deputy minister's interview. But if the report, as you're putting it out, is anything to go by, and he seeks or he sought to justify what happened yesterday, then the deputy minister would have been stepping into very turbulent areas. And there will be serious difficulties with that if he had previous or prior knowledge of exactly what the military were to go and do there and what they actually did, and whether what they did was within or in excess of requirement of the law. Bernard, the Ghana Armed Forces was or is established by reason of Article 210 of the Constitution of the Republic, although the army itself was established much, much longer than that. And their job is basically to defend the sovereignty and the territorial integrity of the Republic, principally against external aggressors, and where necessary, you are looking at internal aggression. So, for instance, if there is some country which is proceeding against the sovereignty of Ghana, it is the job of the military to defend us. When you have terrorists who are seeking to attack us from external sources, it is the job of the military to deal with that. And then where in rare circumstances you have homegrown terrorists or armed, men from within or rebels who want to disturb the peace and sovereignty of the country, the military are authorized to intervene. So those are principally the job that they are required to do under the law. And the provision I quoted for you is implemented by the Ghana Armed Forces Act and related provisions. Article 57 of the Fourth Republican Constitution tells us that the president is the commander-in-chief of the Ghana Armed Forces. In other words, when it comes down to it, he provides the orders that the army are required to go by. In other words, the army people are not a law unto themselves. They are subject to the Constitution.
Because of the nature of what they do,
exactly.
The president must be aware that, because he's the commander-in-chief, so when they are serious, so that's where the question comes back to the designation of Ashaiman. But go on.
And when you go into the Constitution, the president is granted, emergency powers. And those powers are used sparingly. And again, those powers have been implemented by the Emergency Powers Act of 1994. And Section 1, granting the president the power to declare state of emergency in any part of the country, also requires him to immediately inform Parliament as to the facts and circumstances requiring the imposition of the state of emergency. And it is the job of Parliament to subsequently authorize or reject what the president has imposed. So that is just to give you a general view, a general position of what the military are supposed to do. So when it comes to enforcing state of emergency, the president is guided by the need to use a certain level of upgraded force to deal with whatever circumstances that may require the imposition of a state of emergency, in which case they rely on the military to deal with those. Now, the question Godfred asked is whether, as of the time the military moved into Ashaiman yesterday, there was a declaration of state of emergency by the president. If there was one,
we would have known.
We would have known.
Of course.
Again, maybe sometimes, maybe it was issued and we didn't know.
State of emergency cannot be declared in vacuum.
You see, so let me go to that. So even if there was one, then by the time Parliament was sitting, the Law Emergency Powers Act 1994 requires the president to have sent that declaration to Parliament to notify them of what he had done in the Ashaiman area. As we sit here, nothing like that has been done. Now, Bernard, Godfrey spoke about the enforcement powers of our security agencies and why the military is not the trained institution to be doing that. Generally, when you are dealing with crime in this country, the Police Service Act, Section 1, specifically states that it shall be the duties of the police force, which is the police service, to prevent and detect crime, to apprehend offenders, and to maintain public order and safety of persons and properties. So this is the all-encompassing provision that grounds the police.
Read it again.
It says that Section 1
of the Police Service Act.
Yeah, it
says
Act
what? Police Service Act.
The relevant act. You can dig that out.
I'll find it.
It says that it shall be the duties of the Ghana Police Service or force to prevent and detect crime, to apprehend offenders, and to maintain public order and safety of persons and properties.
Okay.
That's their job. And if you read the various provisions of the Criminal Procedure Act of Ghana, the police's job is to deal with all of these things that have been stated in this particular provision I read to you, including investigating, how it should be done, arresting, how that is to be done, and when necessary, a non-police person, in this case, a private person, is given the power to arrest in limited circumstances. And then the police are also told, if you look at the Evidence Act, there is a way that you also have to preserve evidence. When you get evidence, how you preserve it and all of that. All of that are also captured in the Criminal Procedure Act. Now, so when you have some military people, for some reason, under whatever authority they have been given by their commanders, move their, what do you call it? Is it peace goer or whatever it is? Armed vehicles or armored vehicles.
Maybe helicopters.
Buses and helicopters to a densely populated area.
Charlie.
To go to arrest persons. And in the manner they did it, Bernard, they had absolutely no authority. Based on everything that I've read to you thus far, they had no authority to do what they did yesterday. They acted in excess of what the law obliged them to do. In the process, they have undermined the provisions of this Constitution. And Bernard, if you go to Article 16 of the Constitution, let me go to 15 actually, which is the relevant provision. It says that the dignity of all persons shall be inviolable. Clause 2 says that what? No person shall, whether or not he is arrested, restricted, or detained, be subject to A, torture, or other cruel, inhuman, or degrading treatment or punishment. B says any other condition that detracts or is likely to detract from his dignity and worth as a human being. Bernard. And you see, there are some other provisions, but let me not deal with that. Let's look at the videos that we saw yesterday. Military men who are supposed to be precise and disciplined at all times.
Broad daylight.
Yes, even in the face of attacks or being taunted by unarmed civilians, they are required to act professionally. And if you look at the Ghana Armed Forces Act, there are specific requirements imposed upon them. Even when they are doing operation, there are things that they are required to do and not to do. And if you look at these videos, how innocent people were dragged out of their homes, ordered to lie down, and they were lashing them, Bernard. They took canes, lashing them. In other stories that we've heard, they were laying their hands on just anything and using them to hit human beings. The Constitution expressly tells us that even when you arrest a person for a crime, that is not how you treat the person. In some cases, we had stories of how they used the butt of their guns to violate people who were arrested. And brother, it is not as though, look, Ashaiman was at war with itself. And I agree with Godfred when he says that we must condemn crimes like the one that we saw in Ashaiman over the weekend. An army officer was allegedly lynched. That is to be condemned in every possible way that we can master. And we extend our deepest condolences to the family. That is to be condemned. And we are with the family and we stand with the family and we would insist that the people responsible for that crime are arrested, they are prosecuted before a court of jurisdiction that has the authority to so prosecute, and the judge is to throw all the laws in the book at them. That must be done. Each and every one of them responsible for that must be found. But you see, in the pursuit of justice, you don't use the military or misuse the military for that purpose. And clearly, on this occasion, without any justification in law or under the Constitution, whoever ordered the military to step out there with the resources provided for them by we, the good people of this country, to misbehave the way they did, should be found and dealt with.
Where does this leave the police? Because you've read the Police Service Act, which enjoins them to prevent and also deal with crime. If you are in the police high command and you are seeing such a thing, looking at the history of military police clashes in the country, what would be going through your mind? What should they? I mean, is there anything they can do? Because it's almost like this is their area that has been violated.
No, there's nothing they can do.
Okay,
so, I'm not talking from a practical. I'm talking from a legal point of view first, not from a practical point of view.
Because we've had these instances.
Because see, the soldiers are all subject to the law.
They seem not to think they are.
If a soldier, for example, if a soldier runs a traffic light, a policeman can arrest him. If a soldier is sent to a court, a judge can jail him. I don't know whether because they have their own military police
and court martial,
and they have their quasi-judicial systems, they believe that when somebody is in uniform, they are above the normal laws of Ghana.
No, they are not.
I don't know what the law's position is.
No, they are not.
So if a soldier misconducts himself, he can go to a civilian court. Or a normal court. A court is a court. It is not even designated as civilian. So maybe they don't have that understanding or they don't have that clarity in the difference. Because they're spoken about, for example, the people were arrested and sent to the military police, which means that it wasn't the military police who even did it. These are real soldiers who then handed the people to the military police, who then, we are told, will then hand them over to the Ghana police.
You see, ordinarily, the military police have jurisdiction over their men and women.
Their own people.
Exactly. And where, for instance, a civilian finds himself within a military setting and does something in excess of legal requirement,
then
so
the military police will deal with you.
You can arrest, and the law imposes an obligation. Subsequently, hand the person over to the appropriate, police institution.
So even if I do something in Bema camp and the military police arrest me, they have to hand me over to the Ghana police.
Exactly, because the court martial, which is the authority that deals with how military officers or personnel misbehave, and they can prosecute them before that. They do have no authority, strictly speaking.
But we have an absurdity here. So I believe the military yesterday were offside. They've misconducted themselves. Now, the military police is the one supposed to... So if this had been a group of soldiers who had just gone unsanctioned into Ashaiman to do this, then you can say the military high command should get the military police to arrest them.
Exactly.
Now, but the military high command is claiming ownership of this illegality.
You see, that is where the absurdity comes in. And that is why we need an external institution to get involved.
Which will be which one?
Which will be the parliament or the Shraj to arrest, first of all, let me deal with the parliament angle. You see, when was it a juror that the parliament looked into it?
Yes. No, it was a commission.
Yes.
It was one, or is it the WA one? Yeah, Ijura was not parliament. Ijura was a commission.
I think it was the WA. There was one in WA where the military people entered town.
Yes, they went to beat people.
Exactly. Parliament got involved. Subsequently, they removed the ranks of some officers who were involved in this. They demoted them. Exactly.
And that one, I think they said it was unsanctioned. They say it was unsanctioned. Yes.
You see, but this one is much more serious because a respected general, brigadier general of the armed forces, who is responsible for communications, has issued a statement. He does not tell us the authority under which, the legal authority or the constitutional authority under which they did what they did, but merely expresses a certain view that it was an intelligence-led operation. Give me the statement.
Yeah, it's here. It says, let me read it for you. Personnel of the Ghana forces conducted a swoop. There is the word swoop in Ashaiman, which is the word police usually use. On Ashaiman's environs, in a manhunt, so that's another word, for some criminals who are suspected, so the key word is suspects, to have stabbed and killed a young soldier on a 4th March. Now, they said they wish to state categorically that the military operation, so the swoop, which involved a manhunt of suspects, was a military operation sanctioned by the military high command, not to avenge the killing of the soldier, but rather fish out perpetrators of the heinous crime, who we have already described as suspects. Now, a suspect is a legal term. You are suspecting the person until you take him through a proper process. Following the operation, at Ashaiman, Taifa, and Tulaku, and I'm told there are 2 Tulakus. There's one near the traffic light, near the pole, the China Mall side, and then there's a new Tulaku. So, following the operation at Ashaiman, Taifa, and Tulaku, the military personnel picked up about 184 suspects, aged between 21 and 47 years, and have since handed them over to the military police and subsequently to be sent to the Ghana Police Service for screening and for further action. And then they talk about seizing narcotics, and then even though they didn't target innocent civilians, this was an intelligence-led operation. on suspected hideouts of criminals and crime-prone areas in the general area. They have acknowledged that regrettably some innocent persons might have been caught up in the operation and consequently suffer some distress due to the location they found them. She said,
Bernard, you see, first of all, you see, I have great respect for the Brigadier General Agriquashi. He's a fine gentleman.
Yeah.
But with the greatest respect, when your men and women go out to misbehave the way they did, their conduct or misconduct caught on video, and you are to issue a statement on the matter. First of all, you don't issue a statement and say that this, the statement, you say, first of all, the date is what? March the 22nd. No, March 22. 22.
This kind of thing is almost like a Freudian slip because I believe this era of 2022, they probably rushed and wrote a statement.
Is there a template that they always use in circumstances like
you
this?
said, you sent out the statement on 8th March 2023 and you dated
2022. 7th of March 2022. So that is the first mistake.
There was pressure.
But you see, Bernard,
go for it. I beg the limit of this.
Proceed.
You see, so that is the first thing. The second thing is, when you say that you have gone out there, and I have read to you the provisions relevant to the best of my understanding to the situation, which law authorized the military to go and do what they did yesterday? He didn't mention one.
There was no law stated in the statement.
And I also told you that the relevant provisions of the Constitution, Article 15, requires that when you are acting in a way as to arrest or restrict a person, which will be considered lawful, there are specific things that you must do. In all the things that we saw in the videos yesterday, the military people broke all the laws, including the Constitution.
They stopped a company car and just whip occupants of the bus.
How can that be?
And you see, because people take videos of these things, if this was 1982, you do something and you just go. There are so many videos circulating of people who are not even resisting.
Yes.
So this is actually brutality and indiscipline.
Exactly. And George,
you get me?
Godfrey, just give me one more minute. You see, if you go into the statement, he says in paragraph 4, 1, 2, 3, it's actually paragraph 3, that the Ghana Armed Forces also wishes to place on record that the swoop was not targeted at innocent civilians. Underline that.
So they were targeted at what?
But was an intelligence-led operation conducted on suspected hideouts of criminals and crime-prone areas in the general area. The GAF, however, acknowledges that, regrettably, some innocent persons might have been caught up in the operation and consequently suffered some distress. Look at the word.
But who is an innocent civilian?
Due to the location they found themselves at the time.
People were in their buses going to work. They had to change their routes. People were asked to stay in it's almost like a curfew situation. Like for me, if the president doesn't take action against either his Minister of Defense or the military high command, then the claims of respect for rule of law and this whole idea of freedom fighter thing, it's a hoax. Because this is, and we even showed on TV some of the things that the people did.
Yeah.
And I had to even ask my kids to stop watching. You're watching CNN, you showed that, and he was interested in the story. I said, no, this is not how soldiers are supposed to treat people in a democracy. This is, and you see, what worries me is young people go on social media and legitimize this behavior,
this conduct,
and then they say that.
But Ashaiman people are bad. That's what they say.
No, but that's such a sweeping statement.
That's what I'm saying.
You see,
now, and the other point is that if you want to arrest people for killing somebody, if you have to arrest 184 people in an area as large as between here and Accra Sports Stadium, that general large size area, to get, I don't know whether it is 1 or 2 or 3 people who killed the person, we don't know. Then that says a lot about the type of intelligence you are using.
And you see, Bernard,
because 184 people,
Bernard, you see, and that is one thing. And I'll come to what the president must do. You see, the police are trained to collect evidence in specific ways. And you see, and when you go and collect evidence, the way and manner in which you collect the evidence will determine how the court will treat it. And Bernard, That is why often you have cases where soup is conducted
and then they can't get any prosecution.
They can't get any prosecution because a lawyer will say that, look, the so-called confession that you are relying on to prosecute is improperly, you
go and beat somebody. Hey, what's your name? Write his name, and then how do you get? So they're probably even making the work of the police more difficult. Because the police cannot use this.
Yes, the way you were beating up people yesterday, we all saw the videos. How can any judge properly thinking and sitting in
say that
this is lawful use of authority to get evidence? So from the get-go, they have sort of even compromised the work of the police on this matter. And Bernard, Parliament must get involved where appropriate. The Shrag must also get involved. The military command must be dismissed.
I'll tell you something. I'll tell you something. You remember when Major Mahama was killed? There was a week that they allowed the media to go and cover some of the meetings between the military high command and the men in uniform at Burma camp. Yeah. So it was like an open forum.
Yeah.
And for some reason they allowed the media to go.
Yes.
Because they wanted us to gauge the mood of camp.
Yes.
And Sky, some of the rhetoric of the ordinary soldiers about what happened to Major Mahama was very troubling for me because they had to literally be restrained by their commanders to say that you don't need to take the law into your own hands. And I find that problematic because
His orientation.
Fine, Major Mahama's case is different. He was officially on duty. He was working for the state and evil people killed him. But even in that situation, at the time, the military leadership, you listen to the way they spoke to the soldiers, it says, no, the system of justice will be done. Nobody should take the law into their own hands. They actually impressed upon them to allow due process. And there were media people there. I remember we covered that story because they were doing, I think they wanted to let them vent.
Yes.
So you could hear them talking and say, how these things keep happening. People are working on the Galamsey thing. They are not being protected and people are now killing their own friends. And they were so angry. Okay, now compare that type of arrangement where the military high command goes to the organize an open forum, listens to the soldiers, and then impresses upon them to allow the rule of law to work. And then contrast that with today, the military high command is now sending a statement to own this very, very, and you know the funny part, you say it's not in retaliation.
Yet everything is there.
Which law says that when a soldier is killed, the military are the people to go and do the soup? How many people have been killed in Ashaiman? How many people have been innocently stoned and lynched in Ashaiman that they did not go? So are they saying that a separate law applies when somebody in uniform is killed? Which law are they working with? You know, this is a dangerous precedent that all well-meaning Democrats must condemn. And you see, everybody says, oh, Ghanaians, we like talking democracy. You see, I've done this work for only 20 years. I know people who have done such things. And when they are caught in, they call you and say, it's not fair. Somebody is sitting in his house. The only crime he commits is that he lives in Ashaiman. People come to his house and start beating him because he lives close to a crime. And you are telling me that when they kill a soldier, what do they expect? What do they expect? They expect in a sensible country the police to take over. That's what they expect. That's what our constitution says. If we don't want to do democracy, let's say we don't want to do it. We can't have one set of laws applying to everybody else and another set of laws applying to somebody else because he's in uniform. And I always say, the only reason why people have not arming themselves is because we're in a democracy. It's because we have a constitution. So if you use the constitution, you throw it aside and go and do what you do, and then you get people to defend this action, and then you now flippantly write off and say, oh, some people might have been caught up in there. So all the videos you are showing, it is what do you mean they might have been caught up in there? What do you mean by that?
Apology to the people who...
It's almost like it's impunity. It's like we can do whatever we want because we are soldiers. You can't. And the civilian leadership of Ghana must not allow this. I always say to Parliament, you sit there and let people be doing things. The first person that will be affected is you. Parliament should not allow the rights of citizens to be encroached upon. They must be the defenders of the democracy.
You see, and just to highlight the point that you're making, and that is where I actually want to focus on, looking at how people have consumed this. Like even on my year group platform, they are fighting at the moment because I've got a lot of soldiers in my year group. And the question has come up is, why are you not talking about the dead soldier? Why are you
because of the overbearing action of the people who ought to know better. They have overshadowed the death of their noble colleague because they have basically used one wrong. It's like two wrongs don't make a right. So basically, they are the ones who are actually going to compromise the investigation into the murderers of this guy because of their own behavior.
And a few things again I want to touch on, particularly with the last point you made with reference to the civilian leadership of this country. You know, there are a lot of countries where they've gone to significant extent to limit, let me just say, like a lot of countries where there's a general reluctance to utilize military means for law enforcement in domestic contexts. A lot of countries go where I think that for the Americans, they're actually very specific. You can't just, before you show up in a certain, like the law is so clear, it's black and white. A few places are not as black and white. But the underlying principle has always been that there has to be a very clear separation, okay, between civilians and the military. And the use of the military in domestic corridors. It's something that should be very rare, which is why in a lot of places, when you see the military, it tells you that this is of the highest order. And there would have been a certain level of information put out that this is what has happened. I'll give you a typical example. When the president changed the designation of the entire country, or was it Accra and Kumasi?
During COVID.
During COVID.
Yeah.
Did he not go to parliament?
He had to.
What did he do in parliament?
All the laws had to be sanctioned by
they
parliament.
Amended... Sky,
you remember? You're writing
they had to amend the laws to enable the military and the police
to get involved in the COVID effort
and act in a certain way.
Yes. So remember the market cleaning and all those things.
Yes. For them to act in a certain way,
they had to change. The president had to go to parliament.
They had to go to parliament
to change the law.
To change the law. In fact, we have to confirm whether that thing has been lifted.
Yeah.
But
that's why I always tell people that, look, to the best of my knowledge, some of these regulations are still very much there, except that the government is not enforcing it.
We need to check.
So somebody might be happy to arrest you and prosecute you for
but
not wearing
the point I'm trying to make with this is there's a reason why they did that. Yeah. Because they know that this is not how on a normal day things work.
Can somebody sue the armed forces?
Of course. I mean,
Bernard, hold on before you get to that. This is not how things work. So we cannot then suddenly 2 years later wake up and feel that, oh, this should be done. And for a lot of people who think that, oh, what are you complaining about? So, Ashaiman is notorious.
It doesn't.
Hold on. We need to do this. Let us understand one thing as a people. We cannot pick and choose which part of the democracy we like. It is either you like it or you don't like it. But so far as we have agreed, majority of us agreed, because I'm sure that people voted against the Constitution when we did the referendum. But as far as majority of the people of this country have agreed that green book that Richard Sky holds every single day is what we work with, majority of us, there is no element of this society that should be allowed to override it under any circumstance without going through appropriate channels. However, we also seem to have a certain, I don't know if it's Stockholm Syndrome would be the right word to use, but we are enamored by and fearful in our orientation of the military. Like I said, I've got friends in the military. They are awesome people. Like almost everybody knows a soldier or something. Okay. But it does not mean that offering to protect me as a citizen
means that I relinquish all my rights.
Means that I relinquish my rights to you. Because the soldier, he has children. Where do they go to school?
Normal school.
Who teaches them?
Normal people.
When they are sick, where do they go?
Normal hospital.
When they go to church on Sundays, where do they go?
Normal pastors.
Where they go to the mosque on Fridays, where do they go?
Normal imam. Where do they buy food?
Where do you buy food? Where do you play sports? You have elements of civilians in your life at any given point.
Exactly.
For all you know, you have marched from Michelle Camp to wherever. You've gone to touch somebody you claim is an innocent something over there. That person might just be on his way or her way to the classroom to teach your child. You have forgotten that you have a child in class. You don't know where the teacher is coming from. Unless you assume that the teacher lives elsewhere. But the fact that Ashaiman is notorious, and he says that's the thing we need to stop doing in this country. Who does not know Ashaiman is notorious? But does that mean that everybody who lives in Ashaiman is a criminal?
No. 184 people.
Okay, so you allow the police to do their job.
Intelligence.
Allow the police to do their job. So for my simple appeal is, let us not choose to do this. And again, for the civilian leadership of this country, the presidency, the legislature, I am particularly interested because as for the deputy defense minister, he's made up his mind. I've read another quote from him where he says, there is no need to even apologize.
Can you imagine that?
Oh yes, he says, Kweku Menu says, what's his name? Let me find his name this morning. He says there is no need to apologize because they've done what they have done. He said the operation is operation. And well, somebody must ask him some questions about. Maybe he doesn't.
It's shocking.
He doesn't understand the portfolio that he holds.
It's shocking.
That is why we must take vetting a lot more seriously.
It's shocking.
He doesn't. There should not be any apology.
But that's what he said.
When you open your mouth after that kind of thing, the first thing you say
shocking.
Is to apologize to
It's shocking.
You know, so I prefer not to even mention him because when you listen to his comments,
shocking.
I would rather wait for Mr. Nitiwo and then Parliament as well and the committee that works on this to perhaps give us some further and better particulars. Whether Ashaiman is a crime zone or whatever, they have an MP. It is one of the largest constituencies in the electoral constituencies in this country. I have not seen Ashaiman removed from the official constituencies of this country because they are criminals.
Alleged criminals.
I am just saying. That's what people are saying. That they are criminals. Fine.
And then they add 1 or 2 slabs of Indian hemp.
It
legitimizes the brutality.
No problem. So until we get to the point where we say Ashaiman is so bad that we don't allow them to vote. Because the people who live there, they are so bad, they don't even have time to vote. Yeah. They don't pay tax. They no longer fall under whatever civilian designation that this country has to, and do not whatever. We've shut it off. Somebody needs to answer questions as to what happened yesterday.
Yep. And that question.
Somebody needs to answer questions. Our good friend Brigadier General Agrikwashim might have to come back and tell us.
No, he has to change the date.
First of all,
the date matters. Charlie,
and
the effect of it is not.
And this is release number 7. No?
And somebody
hold on. No, in fact, the whole thing can even be because you see, issued by the Department of Public Relations, General Headquarters, Bema Camp, Accra. Telephone number is given, email is given. Release number 7, dated 7th March. It means that their release number 6 and 5 come after this one. So the whole thing.
But my final point
is the 7th March 2022.
There has to be an insistence.
Charlie.
Okay, there has to be an insistence that somebody explain what happened yesterday.
Yes.
Somebody needs to explain, and it is not via press release. You see, and this again, I insist this, and I'm saying this: the civilian leadership must call whoever led this thing yesterday
to
Parliament,
yes,
or the presidency, wherever it is, and ask them. You see, because you see, what the civilians must not downplay. And I'm emphasizing this.
If they get away with this,
they don't do anything.
I'm telling you,
because you cannot. How are you coming back to come and tell us that the military self-sanction?
You see, let me put it in plain English.
It should never be possible.
Military, if they get away with this, they can get up and say during voting, this area poem is behaving.
So we are going there.
So we went there to go and collect the ballot boxes and we arrested the MP and aspirants all because they were causing confusion. And then the defense minister can say, yes, it's good because they were trying to. That's the point. Yeah. If you allow them to get away with this, that's why a lot of people raise issue with their entrance into Parliament on that night. Yeah. You see, this is what we are doing. We are chipping away gradually. You see, evil doesn't necessarily come suddenly.
With a big bang.
There are things happening that we are allowing. And I'm saying to Parliament, you invited your Minister of Health. He hasn't showed up. You are sitting there, you are okay. You are just doing your politics. Keep doing it. Look, if your health minister can choose not to appear before Parliament, I'm sure the defense minister can also say, you won't come. Invite the military high command. Maybe they will show up. You are undermining the institution that is almost like the last vanguard of our democratic freedoms.
Yeah.
And for me, if you're a parliamentarian listening to this on the defense committee, you must take a very serious view of this matter. Have a meeting of the joint caucus. Don't make it a majority-minority issue.
No, it should not be.
And discuss how you can get some clarity. At least invite the chief of defense staff to come and answer questions on how he sanctioned this, what procedures he used, and what retribution will be given to those who went excess. If you don't do that, it means that Parliament, they can brush you aside and do what they want to do. So let's not take this as a joke at all. Ask anybody who understands our history. We should not allow anybody to undermine our constitution for even 1 minute. The constitution enjoins us to defend it, right? I don't have to be a soldier to say what the soldiers have done is wrong. We are not under the rule of terror, under rule of law. If you have a superior argument, make it. But you don't put the constitution aside and become a law unto yourself. Go and arrest 184 people in the name of trying to fish out criminals.
Beat them up.
Because one person has been killed because he was in uniform. That is unacceptable under any condition. And I'm not going to qualify it in any way. And if you have a superior argument, make it. If you believe that what we have said is wrong, prove it. If you feel like you were working in the interest of the state by doing what you did yesterday, come and defend yourself in Parliament. All right, I want to move to something quickly. I'll be talking quickly about the AIDS conversation we've been having every Wednesday. We'll be doing a quick interview on that shortly. But if you missed out on the general admissions for Heritage Christian University College, don't worry, because we have a new opportunity for you where you can apply for our April intake with only 50% waiver for fresh students. Programs include BBA in accounting, marketing, human resource management, banking and finance, and business infotech, BSc Information Technology and Information Security, Bachelor of Theology. We also have entrepreneurship training with financial support, 1 student, 1 laptop, affordable and flexible fee structure, and more. Call 054 7777 731 or dial star 789 star 300 hash to buy an online serial number. Heritage Christian College, a university training compassionate entrepreneurial leaders. Coronation Insurance is giving up to 2,000 cedis worth of fuel coupons and other prizes in the Coronation More to Win promo. To participate, just buy your motor insurance using the Coronation Insurance data platforms by dialing star 789 star 115 hash or visit mycoronationinsuranceghana.com. All fuel coupons are redeemable at any Shell fuel station. Terms and conditions apply. For more information, contact Coronation Insurance on 0302 772 606. And Vodafone Business presents Too Much Business, the #1 mobile plan for businesses in Ghana. With Vodafone Too Much Business, you have the best plan on the market, gives your business the best value, meaning you have the flexibility to choose voice, data, and SMS packages that suit your business's size and ambitions. Get more minutes for your calls for Vodafone to Vodafone and other networks, and experience free calls among your employees and rollover and use data. Send starts to 0507 779 000 or email vodafonebusiness.gh@vodafone.com for more information. Grab your favorite Coca-Cola 300 ml Classic for 5 cedis, your 300 ml Coke Zero for 4 cedis, your Sprite and your Fanta for the same amount. You can also get your 1.5 liter Coke Plastic at 20 cedis and your 1.5 liter Coke Zero or Fanta at 18 cedis. Bring the excitement and fun to your occasion and enjoy the real ice cold refreshment with friends and family. Take a short break. When we come back, we're taking you into our conversation on prevention of mother-to-child transmission of HIV. And then from there, we will bring you our on-air series for the Heritage Month. Stay with us.
This is the Citi Breakfast Show, the city's biggest conversation.
Fly Emirates first and business class and look forward to a journey that's as incredible as your destination. Start your holiday with delicious fine dining, impeccable service, and comfort that's out of this world. Sip drinks in our A380 onboard lounge on flights from Dubai and beyond. Watch a movie and drift into a restful sleep in flatbed seats. Treat yourself to Emirates first and business class. Fly Emirates. Fly better.
Enjoy the best of convenience and security on AT Money. Carry Carry out all your mobile money related transactions on the go. Send or receive cash, pay bills, move cash in and out of your bank account from anywhere at any time. Airtel Tigo Money, your most secured and trusted mobile money service.
Hey, nowadays, germs are in the air. Aren't you concerned?
Concerned about what?
About the children, of course. In times like this, they sneeze, cough, and fall ill just like that.
This is why we need to give our children and ourselves a fighting chance with the maximum protection of Dettol soap. Dettol soap not only refreshes you, but it can be used for bathing and washing hands. So keep calm, get Dettol soap.
Dettol protects from up to 100 illness-causing germs.
Dettol is endorsed by the Ghana Registered Nurses and Midwives Association.
This advert is FDA approved. Keys. What could be simpler than a key? Who doesn't have a key? A car key, an office key, a drawer key. But there's one key that rules them all. The house key. The key to a place we call home. The key to the home where everything comes together. The key to a home that is our own. A home where we make life happen with our families and loved ones. Adoha has been working hard for over 30 years to make home ownership within reach for many. Say yes to property with Adoha. Your dream home is one call away. Your dream home is a few clicks away. Visit our Accra project, The Place, by calling 030-2789-757.
1xBet. Easy betting, easy winnings. 1xBet, the most reliable service to make deposits easily with high odds and numerous bonuses on the spot. Register now at 1xBet.com.gh. Use promo code BESTODDSGH. You get 300% bonus up to 3,445 Ghana cedis on your first deposit. Easy to use, easy to have a chance to win. 1xBet, reliable bookmaker. Gambling can be addictive. Bet responsibly. Not for person under 18 years. This advertisement has been vetted and approved by the Gaming Commission.
Ajua, Grandma looked very peaceful. I was completely amazed when I saw her neatly presented. She looked just like she was sleeping.
You haven't seen anything yet, my brother. You should have seen the care and quality treatment they gave her at Transitions. One man, one room, just like a 5-star hotel.
Wow.
And not only that, we had a dedicated person to guide the family through the funeral planning process.
Are you sure?
Of course. From picking her up to when we lowered Grandma down, everything was completely stress-free. They had all the needed funeral services, caskets, hearse, chapel, and so much more.
This one, dear, no family fights after all.
I'm so happy we made the right decision to use Transitions.
With Transitions, your loved one gets the best of care while the family enjoys a stress-free funeral planning process. Call us now on 0302-634-706. And no, did I tell you they're affordable? Transitions, the funeral people.
This is the Citi Breakfast Show, the city's biggest conversation.
Adam, are you all right? You look worried.
Of course. I just found out that I'm pregnant. Being HIV positive, I just don't know what to do.
Your pregnancy should not be a problem at all.
Why do you say that? I don't want to have an abortion, but I don't want to have a baby with HIV either.
That is good. You can have a baby free of HIV due to prevention of mother-to-child transmission of HIV services. I'm surprised you don't know about this. Ask your midwives. I'm sure she will tell you more about it.
Are you sure I can have a baby free of HIV? How is this possible?
To ensure that no child is born HIV positive, every pregnant woman is offered an HIV test on her first visit to the antenatal clinic. If the test is negative, she's offered another test at 34 weeks of pregnancy. This is to ensure that all HIV positive pregnant women are identified and offered HIV treatment. The treatment suppresses the virus in the mother's body to reduce the chances of the virus being transmitted to the baby. The baby would also be given medication when born to ensure that it does not become HIV positive. So you see, there's no need to get worried at all. Hurry up and report to the nearest antenatal clinic for further advice.
Oh, of course. You are God-sent. I feel relieved. I'm on my way to the antenatal clinic now.
PMTCT is the way to go.
This message is brought to you by Ghana AIDS Commission in collaboration with the Office of the First Lady and Rebecca Foundation.
And so with 16 minutes past 9, I want to welcome from the National AIDS Control Program, Ms. Caroline Adonadaga, to talk to us about the prevention of mother-to-child transmission of HIV. Good morning. Welcome to the show.
Good morning, Bernard.
How are you doing?
I'm fine. How are you too?
I'm very well, thank you. So we just heard a mother in that skit complain about being infected and very concerned about what to do. But the person talking said, look, there's prevention of mother-to-child transmission. So what is prevention of mother-to-child transmission of HIV?
Okay, thank you. Good morning to your listeners.
Mm.
And thanks for the opportunity. Yeah, before I start, I just want to assure all HIV-positive women listening this morning that, yes, sometimes it may be difficult being told that you're HIV positive. It can be quite disturbing. But the good news is that you can live positively with your HIV status and have a perfectly normal negative HIV baby.
Okay.
So PMTCT, just as we heard, is the way to go. It's a package of interventions that are put in place so that at least it boosts the mother's immunity, makes the mother healthy, through giving that mother what we call antiretroviral therapy, which we use HIV medications to reduce the viral load of that mother. So in doing that, it improves the mother's health, which goes a long way to also prevent her from transmitting the virus to her baby, either during pregnancy, labor and delivery, or through breastfeeding.
Wonderful. So why is PMTCT important in HIV management?
Yeah, PMTCT is it's important because when you look at the modes of transmission of HIV, the highest mode of transmission, like that has the highest rate, is through unprotected sexual intercourse. Aside that one, the next one is through mother-to-child transmission, which accounts for about 15% of all our HIV infections. So as we work towards reducing our new infections, we need to pay attention to preventing mothers from infecting their babies, those who are HIV positive. And also we are working towards eliminating mother-to-child transmission. We don't just want to prevent. Yes, we have to prevent, but the goal is to eliminate mother-to-child transmission of HIV, such that at least our risk of or rate of transmission, we need to get it to less than 5%. In fact, we even want to get to less than 2%. Then we can see that we have virtually eliminated mother-to-child transmission.
Okay.
And aside that, the other thing is that with our babies, we want them to be born free of HIV so that they will also be free to shine. Okay. And then they are future leaders, so we don't want to have babies who will come out already positive and will have to be on treatment for the rest of their lives. Okay. So these are some of the reasons why.
Okay. I'm told there are 4 prongs of the PMTCT. Can you enlighten us on each of these 4?
Yeah, we have 4 prongs. Ghana, we have a strategy, what we call the PMTCT strategy. And it has those 4 prongs. We have the first one that has to do with primary prevention of HIV infection. And then the second one, that one has to do with preventing unintended pregnancies among women infected with HIV.
Okay.
And then the third prong has to do with preventing HIV transmission from women who are HIV positive to their babies. And then the last one, which is the 4th prong, has to do with provision of treatment, care, and support to the woman infected, her infants, and family. So for the first prong, we want to ensure that women in their fertile age do not get infected with HIV.
Okay.
Because if the woman is not infected, there is no way she can transmit. So PMTCT will not even come in. And so under this prong, we try as much as possible to encourage women who are in their fertile age, to, especially the adolescents, to not to start sex early. That's number one. If they will have to, they should abstain if they can. If they can't, they should stick to one faithful, uninfected partner. so that they don't get infected. And then, aside that, we are also looking at counseling and testing women so that those who are not infected will not, with the counseling, they will get to understand how to prevent themselves from getting infected so they do not get infected. And then for the second prong, that has to do with preventing unintended pregnancies. Yes, a woman can be HIV positive. That doesn't mean she cannot have children. But we don't want the woman who is positive, who does not want to get pregnant, to get pregnant. Because she may be positive, but if she doesn't get pregnant, she will not be transmitting HIV to her infant. And so for such women, when we identify them through counseling, we encourage them to go for family planning. So family planning is provided. We encourage the use of condoms through our counseling, so that at least if we cannot prevent her from having unprotected sex, we should be able to prevent her from getting pregnant. Okay, because if she doesn't, then. And then the third prong, which has to do with the preventing the woman who is already HIV positive from transmitting the virus. Under that prong, we also, that has to do with those who are pregnant. So we provide them with what we call the ARVs. That's the medicines that we used to treat HIV. And then when we provide these medicines to the woman, we also encourage her to take them, just as she's supposed to be taking them. If it's a daily drug, she has to adhere. Because the essence of that is for us to get her viral load to go to the barest minimum. Because the viral load, if it is high, that is what makes her transmit. So once we are able to make her, put her on the treatment, get her to take her medicines as she's supposed to, viral load goes down, virally suppressed, then we are sure, or we know that her chances of transmitting becomes very minimal. So that's prong has to do with what we do. And even still during pregnancy, that is why we counsel and test, or we test and counsel pregnant women, so that we are able to identify those who are positive. Then we put them on treatment. And then those who are negative, we put in interventions to ensure that they don't get the infection. Because if the woman gets infected during pregnancy, her chances of transmitting the virus to a baby is higher than the one who is already positive and on treatment and getting pregnant.
Wonderful.
So we don't want women getting positive. Yeah.
Especially on International Women's Day.
Yes, so that is it.
Yes.
Yeah. So, and then
the fourth one.
The fourth prong, yes, that has to do with provision of treatment, care, and support. The woman is on treatment. We want to also manage opportunistic infections. You know, HIV is a virus that, when somebody gets it, it reduces or weakens the person's immunity, and then makes other infections that usually people with strong immunity can, shed them off easily. And so we want to find out whether she has any opportunistic infections. Then we manage those ones. We ensure that she's taking her antiretroviral therapy. We ensure that if she has a partner, of course, somebody impregnated her or partners, we also want to know whether they are also positive or negative. So we'll want to encourage disclosure. If you're a woman listening and you are positive, there's a need for you to think of disclosing to your partner or partners, sexual partners. If you also have children, younger children, we also want to know whether they are positive or not. Because when she tests positive, we don't know when she got it. And that is the thing about HIV. It won't tell you when. So we don't want to take any chances. So ask you, the woman, to bring your children for us to also know whether they are positive or they are negative.
Okay.
And then we also talk to her about her nutrition, which is very key. Taking medicine alone without good nutrition, it doesn't make it to work properly. And so we counsel on good nutrition and prevention of infections.
Let's talk about what an HIV positive mother can do to lower the risk of giving HIV to her child.
Yeah. So for an HIV positive mother, the first thing is knowing your status. Once she knows she's HIV positive, just as we are saying, the next thing is to avail herself for treatment, which is the ARVs. So any woman listening to me, once you get to realize that you are pregnant, I will encourage that visit the antenatal clinic as soon as possible. There, even if you don't know your status, you'll be provided with HIV testing. And then if you are positive, avail yourself, accept your status. That is always not the time to be wondering, I'm not promiscuous, I haven't done this, how can I be? And be in denial. No, accept your status for your own sake and also the sake of the baby that you are carrying. And then this woman will give you the ARVs. Take them, stick to your schedule appointments, the antenatal care appointments, very, very important for us. And then your nutrition too, very good. From there, we will have to remember that when your pregnancy is about 8 months, we will need to know your viral load. So you have to avail yourself for your sample to be taken for us to know how the medicines are working for you. And then also, you have to decide how you want to breastfeed. What we will encourage is that you plan to give your baby exclusive breastfeeding. Okay. And then when it comes to delivery, please ensure that you deliver at the health facility.
Wonderful.
Very important. Because managing the labor, because for a pregnant woman, you can transmit if you're HIV positive, either during pregnancy or the time that you are giving birth or through breastfeeding. And the period that carries the highest risk of transmission is during labor and delivery. So if you don't go to the facility for professional midwives to take care of you, because they know, they will get to know that you are positive, and so they know what to do for you so as to reduce that risk of transmitting. So delivery at the health facility is key.
Okay.
And then when you deliver as an HIV positive mother, remember that your baby will be given ARVs, medicines, HIV medicines. Antiretrovirals, yes, for your baby to take. And your baby will take these medicines every day for 12 weeks, which is 3 months. So if you deliver, ensure that this is done. The midwives will do it, but just in case somebody forgets, once we educate you, know that this baby will be given this medicine. And also know that your baby's sample, we need to also do what we call early infant diagnosis to know whether the baby is infected already or not. And this first test is supposed to be done within the first 6 weeks of your baby's life. So note that it needs to be done any time within the first 6 weeks. And then at 6 weeks, the mother should remember that the baby is supposed to be given what we call cotrimazole or Septrin suspension, which the baby will be taking.
Okay. Is there any point in the steps of this PMTCT thing that a mother can be sure that she has succeeded in not transferring the virus to the baby?
Yes, the only time the mother will be sure that my baby is HIV negative is from 18 months.
After 18 months?
Yes.
Okay.
Because when we do the first early infant diagnosis, those who test positive, we put them on treatment. Once the baby is positive and confirmed that this baby is HIV positive, the baby is put on treatment. Those who test negative within the first 6 weeks, 9 months, that baby is tested, retested again. And then at 18 months, and then those first tests, we use what we call DNA PCR. Okay, that one looks for the viral particles themselves. But at 18 months, every baby who is an HIV-exposed baby, meaning the mother is positive, will test all of them again using our antibody test. They are RDTs. Okay, so, and what the mothers need to understand is that if you are breastfeeding, which we encourage, remember you are supposed to breastfeed exclusively for the first 6 months. No water, no nanwan, no cocoa, nothing. Except if the baby is not well and is provided with medicines a doctor prescribes. Okay, and you, from 6 months, you now continue to breastfeed. You can now add other feeds up to 12 months, then you stop breastfeeding. So by 18 months, when we do the antibody test, because usually before you do antibody test, the mother must stop breastfeeding for at least 3 months. Okay, so when we do it at that time and the baby is negative, now we know baby is negative, we are using our antibody test. Okay, and we use those antibody tests because of the fact that we know by then babies' antibodies will be babies' own antibodies. So it's only then, once the mother knows I've stopped breastfeeding for at least 3 months, 18 months, and his baby is now 18 months, and then test is done, and then the test comes out at HIV negative.
Then you are aware.
The baby is mother is sure.
So what happens if the baby tests HIV positive?
The baby tests positive either within the first 6 months, 6 weeks, either within the first 6 weeks, 9 months, or 18 months. We enroll that baby in care, meaning that baby is positive and will be on the antiretroviral therapy for the rest of that baby's life. You see how uneasy it will be to have a baby 6 weeks old already starting to take an HIV medicines. We do not want that. And that is something that we are working seriously and hardly towards. Because for us to have our generation that is free, we need to really work hard towards. And because of that, whenever there's a baby testing positive, we have something we do now. The Ghana Health Service, the Director General, has issued a communique, meaning that that particular baby who tested positive, we audit. Just like the way when a mother dies, we audit to find out what went wrong. Because if we have all the ARVs in place, we have all the professionals, and still somebody gets infected, then we want to find out why. So as to inform us as to the things, the gaps that we have in the system, such that we try to prevent
Finally,
all those things.
Any advice for HIV positive pregnant women and their partners?
Yeah, the advice, I mean, I just, as we have said, they should avail themselves for the HIV treatment. That's the antiretroviral therapy. And then when we give the medicines to you, and we want you, the partners, the husbands, the partners, please support your wives who are HIV positive if they gather the courage to disclose their status to you. Know that you can live with your partner who is positive, and then also test, so that even if you are negative, we also have what we call PrEP, which is pre-exposure prophylaxis for you, the partner who is negative, whilst we put your positive pregnant woman on treatment. Okay. And aside at that, the other thing that they need to do is to adhere, especially the woman, because adhering or taking the medicines the right way is key to preventing you from transmitting the infection to your baby. Because if you don't adhere and the viral load goes up, then the work we are doing, it will not help us. And of course, keeping to the medical appointments, the viral load, good nutrition, and psychologically, you just have to accept your status. And
thank you very much, Miss Caroline Adonadaga from the NACP.
So my final
your final comments, yes.
My final comments to my listeners is that yes, there is HIV, infections are still going on, but let us remember that we can still have a woman who is HIV positive having an HIV negative baby. The only good thing that you have to do as a woman who is positive is that you should avail yourself for treatment. Visit the antenatal care clinic as soon as you notice you are HIV or you are pregnant, so that your status will be determined. And take your medicines, then do all the things that we have asked you to do. You know that PMTCT is the way to go so that our babies will be free to shine, free of HIV, then grow up to help build Mother Ghana. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you very much. So that was your HIV moment brought to you by the National AIDS Control Program. Our guest, Caroline Adonadaga. Before we get into our next segment, just to let you quickly know that the Vigdang Healthcare, Ghana Health Service certified center, specializes in kidney stones, hypertension, fatty liver acids, and other issues. Specialize in 100% natural medicines in all treatments. We are on the Spintex Road behind the Standard Chartered Bank. Call us on 0549 951 211 for more information. And Lashibi Funeral Homes is a crematorium and a funeral home that provides you the help when you need it most, when you need to give your loved one a befitting send-off. We'll guide you to the unfamiliar territory of selecting products and services that will ensure your loved one gets a fitting send-off. Call 0509-542-409 or go to lashibifuneralhomes.com for more information.
This is the Citi Breakfast Show, the city's biggest conversation.
Vodafone Business introduces 2 much business packages for businesses and SMEs. Yes, it be too much value. It be too much flexibility. It be too much everything. So on Vodafone, too much business. And the best part is you can now take your business up another level. Wow. Choose the voice, data, and SMS package that suits your business size and ambitions with Vodafone Too Much Business. That means more data for your business with the ability to roll over unused data. More SMS, more minutes for Vodafone to Vodafone calls and Vodafone to other networks, plus free calls amongst your employees, all in one mobile package. There is too much value you get on the best mobile plan in Ghana today. To sign up, SMS start to 050-777-9000 or email vodafonebusiness.gh@vodafone.com.
Vodafone, further together.
Fly Emirates first and business class and look forward to a journey that's as incredible as your destination. Start your holiday with delicious fine dining, impeccable service, and comfort that's out of this world. Sip drinks in our A380 onboard lounge on flights from Dubai and beyond. Watch a movie and drift into a restful sleep in flatbed seats. Treat yourself to Emirates first and business class. Fly Emirates. Fly better.
Push! Congratulations, Abandzi baby. It's time to feed your baby.
Yes, I want to thank you for your advice to go for the COVID-19 vaccination during my pregnancy. I was worried, but the way you assured me helped me a lot. I had my peace of mind from the fear of getting seriously sick with COVID-19 and also carried my pregnancy to full term without any complications. Now I have a bouncy baby.
I'm glad you took our advice. You see, every pregnant woman needs to know that the COVID-19 vaccine is safe for her and her unborn baby.
You are right, Auntie Ness.
There are people going around spreading rumors.
Yes, so all kinds of wild rumors and misinformation. Look, I got pregnant after my first dose of the COVID-19 vaccine. Went for my second dose while pregnant. Yet, I carried it full term and just delivered a healthy baby. I will go for the booster on my first postnatal visit.
You were right not to listen to them. The vaccine protected you and your baby from severe COVID-19 illness and hospitalization and can protect all pregnant women and their unborn babies. Hey, please, attend to your precious baby.
My beloved baby.
The COVID-19 vaccine is safe for pregnant women and their unborn babies. Protect yourself, protect your baby, get vaccinated now. This message is from the Ministry of Health and Ghana Health Service with support from USAID and partners.
Enjoy the best of convenience and security on AT Money. Carry out all your mobile money related transactions on the go. Send or receive cash, pay bills, move cash in and out of your bank account from anywhere at any time. Airtel Tigo Money, your most secured and trusted mobile money service.
Hisense, yet yes, as you talk, now so from the so yet din. Nissanti. Yashasha bibi sunko crowd ya mama. Ya tuni din say Hisense super promo. Ya niema ne buono. Ya sa shini nyinebio. Impo ya fasompo. E ye free so. Said ya be faso dia mama. Ya kono first come, first serve. E niema no sa na sa Hisense super promo yi. E we showrooms nyina. E wo Ghana fa na nyina. Hisense one amount 5 years manufacturer defect warranty. Yeniema border from change ya kenina. Change ya kenina. Hisense change ya kenina. Na ye papa change ya kenina. Kayo, every 28 February, akovim 8 March. A ye Hisense super promo. Hisense, everyday prices for everyday people.
The Citi Breakfast Show. Rise above the noise.
This is the Honors series for the Heritage Month, and we're talking places and people of historical significance. Today we're focusing on the central region, and don't forget, the Heritage Caravan drives across 13 regions. In the central region, one of the key places you would pass through is Saltpond. So today we could have will give us the signals of Saltpond. But this is interesting. We'll talk about Saltpond, and then if we're driving towards Cape Coast, there are about 6 towns you get through to Yamoransa before you get to Cape Coast proper. He will give us the significance of Saltpond in the context of that whole area. Kweku, thanks for joining us.
Thank you too.
It's good to have you. So Saltpond, if somebody were a stranger and just landed in the Gold Coast, they would have thought Saltpond was the capital because there's so many important things that happen in Saltpond. How did Saltpond become so significant in Ghana's history?
So commercially and politically. So when the Anumabo township was invaded by the Ashanti, the harbor, the businesses went down. Most of Anumabo people fled to Cape Coast and built the Cape Coast become what it is. The intellectual forces from there all left. And then some also found themselves in Saltpond. But because Saltpond has deep waters, it became a place where a lot of shipment took place. So if you go back to historical geography of Ghana, that's K.B. Dixon's work, Kwame B. Dixon's work, you see the changing indexes in terms of volume of trade, moving all the way from Anumabo and Saltpond, emerging as the next commercial center. So that's how you see it alongside Cape Coast. Before later, everything came to Accra because of the capital being moved from Cape Coast to Accra.
So Anumabo, prior to that war, was the center of intellectual power in the
commercial power.
Anumabo.
That was Anumabo. So that was what was there. Then politically, when in the right to our nationalist or independence agenda, Saltpond became the place for foundation of UGCC, United Gold Coast Convention, in 4th August 1948. So around that time, 47 rather, when they went there for the formation, a very rich merchant called Abionens gave his lodge or a house called Canaan Lodge, and that is where they met all the power players in the Gold Coast politics then, and then they founded the place. Abionens' grandson, until recently he passed, was the oldest in Fante who was living. If you ever see some pictures about him, the son is also a professor.
Wow.
One of his brother, the one that also died recently, Horatio Mens, who was in Mungwa. So those important mercantile family provided that burden in Saltpond. And also, Nkrumah, also when he was founding the CPP, also sent it in 1949, was also founded in Saltpond. So Saltpond has been described as the political mecca of Ghana.
You described the topography of the place and said it suited the ships bringing their wares because it had a better natural port. And it's also on the eastern part from Anumabo, where Cape Coast is on the western part. But the people from Saltpond...
No, both are on the western side part. It's Mankesim, which is...
Sorry, Mankesim. So sorry. Let's just... If you are from Mankesim, do you get to Saltpond?
You get to Saltpond, then you go to Kromante, Abandzi, Eja, Anumabo, Birua. Then you go to Akatechia, then Yamoransa. From Yamoransa, you go to Mori. From Mori to Amwesama, then you go to Cape Coast.
Yes, so that's what I'm saying. So Anumabo is in the center. The intellectuals moved to the west to Cape Coast.
Yeah.
And then the business community moved to the east to Saltpond.
Yes.
So Anumabo is in between Saltpond and Cape Coast. That's what I'm trying to say.
Yes.
So it's almost like they benefited, both Cape Coast and Saltpond benefited from Anumabo's decline.
Yeah, a lot.
That's what I'm trying to say. So that's what, okay. Now, people from Saltpond, they call themselves by a certain interesting name. They say they are Achimfo. What does that mean?
So, you know the Fante communities, most of them have their Fante names and their European names. So, Apam, they are called Apa, Simpa, Winiba, okay, Ogwa, Cape Coast. You see, how do you call Doma, Manford. So, these are the Umawule, Mori. You see that Aketechi, Commander.
Wow.
Eduna, Elmina, Sekuni, Sekendi.
So the real names are the first ones you are mentioning.
Yes, so
the second ones are the anglicized versions.
The anglicized versions. So that is how the Fante communities are. So Saltpond, they are Achemfo.
Because Achemfo becomes Saltpond.
Yes, because it is a salt pond because in Chen is salt. In Fante.
In Chen, salt.
So in Chenefo, people who mine salt, that was the job that was doing there. So, so a little bit of history is that the Saltpond is part of Nkusukum traditional area. And their headquarters is Yamransa. So when the Fantes were coming from Techiman, the Nkusukum people were the people who formed the rage. They were in between. So they called it Odemia, the rage. They formed the rage and they came to the with the Fante and settled first at the Manzi. Their leader was called Openyin Nkusu. So his people then became Nkusukum. And when they were at Saltpond, some of them moving Marketing, some of them started moving out. One of them moved to a place called Kuntu. Okay? The another one going to Anochem. And then one of them also went to find a town called Nankasado because someone killed a very big elephant and people used to go there and go and have the meat. So where the big meat is at, Nankasado. So the leader of the Nkusukum group was called Kowokun Kowo, who killed Buffalo. So this guy moved with his people through Saltpond, and then through when he reached Kwamante, the Njedum people were there. Passed through Abandzi, people from all corners of the world who have settled below the Fort Amsterdam at the top there, Kwamante, and they have become a town of their own. So they are amalgamation of people. Then they moved to Eja, which is also Aboriginal Eti community, and then Anomabo, where the mixture of Fante and Aboriginal Eti were. So all these people were already occupied. So then he moved to Bidua. It's Bidua they leave the old lady who says he was too tired to move. So Abewa or Bidua, where the people go and fetch their charcoal and other things, become a town. And that is the town of famous, one of the Ghanaian musicians, Sir Ali Baba Foster. It is also the hometown of Isankoma. So from there, we move all the way to Aketechua. So when Kokumko reached Yamransa and saw a vast land, he decided to thank the deities. And he poured European drink, which is called Mbrosa. So it's the place where Okumko poured the European drink become Yamransa. That is where you buy your wonderful kenke. Kenke in all forms. The one that Francisco when you eat, you will always want to go back when you are driving on that highway. So that is the town. Wow. Now, how did Saltpond came about? It's an interesting history. So Saltpond was founded by a guy called Entiri Kwesi. Okay. Entiri Kwesi was a crab trapper from Nankasado. So you cross the river Atofa, the lagoon Atofa. That is the lagoon in Saltpond. But in the area, the land in fact became Bakado. The Bakado area. So when you go there, the Bakado is there, and then the lower town, which he founded, the upper town and Kasolo, and the lower town become Ekwada. So you have these two towns out of those community. However, for some time when other people came in, Entiri Kwesi went back to his hometown, and then the chieftaincy system reverted to the Abandzi clan member who was in the community. So that is how Saltpond came. And this town, because of the trade, got a lot of people from the neighboring community and a lot of group also coming from the interior, all settling within the community. So the Entries people become with anglicized Enchel. That's why you see the Benti Enchels coming from that community, okay, in that Saltpond. So Saltpond then become an avenue for producing the intellectual forces. And they were not people who were engaged in fishing. So the appellation is Achemfo Brefi Achemfo. But the Pranoso one couple. What it could be unquote, Comantenka in Camphonambedi. So the Camphona is the shark, the smallest fish when you are just close to the beach. You can use nets.
Can you repeat that? Achemfo Brefi Achemfo.
So when you are there, you just use it. Achemfo Brefi Achemfo. But the Pranoso one couple. Wanted to Kubenko Comantenka in Camphonambedi. You can translate it today.
Achemfo, the bulrush basket Achemfo, though they live near the sea, they do not fish. They take over to Cromante to go and exchange for wetless fish.
To come and eat. So that is what they will do. So that is how the Fante saw them. Okay, so
why don't they fish? Why don't they like fishing?
Because they were crab trappers and they were farmers. They also prefer the salt mining, which gives them a sort of a local economy that they depended upon. Secondly, they have a very deep sea, so the place became a natural harbor. So if you mess up with the waves there, you will get drowned. And they know better because they are smart people. And they were a group of fearless people. For a very long time within the Fante community, across that corridor, they were one of the last people to get police station. Because whenever you decide to build a police station, they will break it down. So they call themselves Mifiachemfu, means no police. That's why Professor P.M.E. answer. Whenever you write his article, you keep on repeating it, that he is fearless because he is somebody who comes from a town who you see police and he will still be standing there.
So why is the straw basket the symbol of Saltpond?
Because Brefi, that is the Brefi you mentioned, Achemfu, Brefi, Achemfu.
Okay.
So the brush or the straw basket is what you use to, when you see crabs, you realize that they use something to tie them and they put it in that basket. So that basket that contains that whole lot of them become Brefi. Okay, Brefi also means storm blazer, someone who has suffered to overcome something. So in Fante language, they can say, "What's Brefi in a brow?" It means they are bringing you something valuable because it is used to carry a very important thing. And for them living in that community, because they don't go to sea, crab was very important for them to, rely, or they have to move to Komante, which is a major fishing community, to go and find their fish.
This is the Heritage Month, and we are talking Central Region now, and we're discussing Saltpond as an entry point into some of the communities around the coast. My guess we could Akankra. Komante is it sounds like an important town.
Very, very.
I think Asabi comes from that area, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes, and then you have the Myokuduka also comes from there.
I see. So in the drive from Saltpond towards Cape Coast, the first major town I meet is Komante.
Yes, Komante.
What does it mean and what is its significance?
So it means Kwame did not hear. So the Kwame was one of the first Fantes, but the Komante themselves, they were in Jedum, who were also Aboriginal people. They were there. So when the Nana Kwame and his people were moving from Mankesimu to Aketechi, which is Commander, his junior brother, we have Kwame Penyin and Kwame Kakra, or Kuma. So he left his brother at Komante, the Injedum people. So when he went and he reached Aketechua, he returned back and told his brother he should come so that they move and find a new place to settle. He did not listen. And then they tried another account, but there was a skirmishes, and his brother was killed. So he said, Kwame Ante. His brother Kwame did not listen. So the place became Komante.
And that's Infanteman?
That is part of Infanteman.
I see.
And it was also one of the important areas. One of the first forts was also built there. So the fort that was built there was built by the by the English. But the French, when there was a war between the Dutch, because there was a tough war between the Dutch and then the British. So during that war, the Dutch defeated the English and then they took over their fort and they renamed it Fort Amsterdam, as it is there.
That was an original name.
Very good. And then the Dutch also, their fort at Anamabo was also taken over by the English. That's the Fort Charles, which later became, we were built to become Fort Williams at Anamabo. So you see the exchange. You take my own here, I also take yours from other places. So that is a little bit of history from Komante.
From Komante, you go to a place called Abandzi.
Yes, so Abandzi, because of the fort, there was a lot of business around that community. So people from all walks of life, various Fantes, including Asantis and other accounts, came there as traders. And they decided to trade below where the fort is. And then they become Abandzi, meaning people who are living down the Fante Azi. Why people will say Kumasi? If it to be Fante, it will become Kumazi.
Thing. Kumazi.
So Azi means Asi. Okay. So that's why you have Takrazi. Takrazi means Takra trees under. Okay. Where the Takra tree is.
Okay.
But if it to be Asanti.
So Takra is not Takradi, it's Takrazi.
Takrazi. So the anglicization is Takradi. Kadi. You see, if it to be a country, it will be Takrasi. But Fantis will say Takradi. Okay. So Abandzi, if it was also be in Asante, it would have been Abandzi. Abanasi. So this is Abandzi. People below the fort in Akan means Aban. Okay. So the people who are living there are people who live below the Abandzi.
So are there any serious fort in Abandzi?
Yes. So they are the people who are now living directly under the fort, and they have become a town with their own chief. Those amalgamated group of people. Okay. But the land itself there is owned by the chief of OT, who is also an Aboriginal AT. The land itself. So back in the day, when they go to sea and whatever, the chief of OT will come and take his share
of the
from
fish.
All the that who is autochthony over the land. Wow. That is aboriginality over the land. So those were the people. So you hear CK man used to say, "Komantina Abandzi." What me say? What can I say? Abre. So you see, there's a lagoon that serves as a boundary between Abandzi and Komanti. When you are driving, you just look on your left side and right side. You see, there's a small lagoon. So the lagoon Komantis were there before the Abandis came. But that ecosystem also provided fish, the fish needs for all the people in the both community. And they were claiming, all of them were claiming autochthony over that resources. And that led to their fight. So when they fight, when you ask them what caused two brethren from both sides to fight, they cannot even explain themselves. And it was about the resource scarce.
When you move from Abandzi towards Amimabo, is there any town you pass through or you get straight to?
So you get to Eja, and the Eja is divided. Eja number 1, number 2, and number 3.
Eja?
Eja. So what? Eja is the place where when the Aboriginal Etis used to stay there. So this town, Eja, that is where people like Miles, the Miles Abedus, how do you call it? This Chief Justice, former Supreme Court Judge, CF from Benjamin, that is where they come from. So the Hefrons, including Zimbabwe former president, what's the name? Mugabe's wife, Sally Hefron, that is their community. Eja there. So they produce a lot. Kuntu Blankson also come from the former Gold Coaster. So that's what it's part of Anamabo. It's part of Anamabo now. So when the Fantis were there, they left their people there, and then they moved to Uninatazi, which developed to become the Anamabo town. So the people they left, so they left them behind. So the people left behind.
City News.